All right, we are live. So, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to This Week in Loaded.
Yeah, right. I guess we're live. The little video thing there, so generously made by DM Foss, says we are live. So I guess we're live. And see, on the panel, first one in was the show co-host, Mr. Jason Stewart. How are you tonight?
Oh, I'm doing all right, man. Thanks for the invite. Good to see everybody.
Yep. Next one in here to this madhouse was Mr. Rob D, the New York Outcast. How are you tonight?
A little stressed, but better now. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for having us, everybody.
And last but not least so far is Squibload. Are you there, Squibby?
I am. Dropped out there for a second. It probably will a couple times. You know, that's the way it works on mobile. But I appreciate the invite. I like jumping on the live shows. Sometimes I can fit them into my schedule. Sometimes things just happen to work out where I've got the time to jump into one. So appreciate it.
Yep. So what the hell are we talking about tonight? I got no clue. So somebody throw something out there and we'll try to talk about it. I am not prepared for anything today.
Try to take guesses at what's in this damn Subway sub I got for dinner.
Cold
Why
cut
didn't
combo?
you get a didn't you get a salad?
No, he did. It's a salad on a bun.
It's a salad on bread.
The
Yeah.
salad
I
on a
just
bun.
said that. You owe me a Coke.
Nah.
It's a salad witch.
I can see this show's going to go over as well as Gary's did this morning. Yeah, Gary's
What?
show this morning got so bad we started telling dad jokes on the air.
Oh, that is bad.
You should have been there for that one. Blonde
Oh,
jokes,
no.
dad jokes, jokes about mimes.
Well, Patriot wants to talk about midget tossing.
He always wants to talk about that. I think he's
Salad
trying to
on
get
a bun.
I think Patriots trying to get us to do that tonight because we didn't yesterday.
Rob, do you always wait for dinner when it's chat time, or
Yes.
do you
Yeah, and
just
do you
eat
always
every time you're on a chat, or
No, man.
like,
I'm always busy up until that time, basically. Like, I just got in the house.
get carry out?
No. But, yeah, we were pre-gaming today for work tomorrow. So, yeah.
I'm going to disagree and say yes. He always gets carried out after the chicken
No.
fried steak debacle.
Well, if it's my night to cook, that's different.
And I'm going to assume that tonight was your night to cook since you have takeout.
Nope. We just got done late. Got stuck watching animal videos at a customer's for way longer than I would like to.
Uh-huh.
What kind of animal videos? Was the video called Barnyard Follies?
No, they're feeding lions and tigers and otters,
Bears,
and
oh my.
all that type of stuff.
down on the farm?
Alrighty then. But see who
Ready
we
for
got out
those
there.
dad jokes?
So who do we got out there in the chat so far? We have Patriot, the aforementioned Patriot in the Dark. Jason out there in the chat as well as being in here. Mystic Guns is out there. Misfit Starling's out there. And the aforementioned DM Foss is out there. So evening everybody. And DM Foss starting with the dad jokes, continuing off from this morning. He may have been the one that started the whole dad joke thing, or was it Kingpin? It was either him or Kingpin that started the whole telling silly, stupid, nonsensical jokes this morning. But yeah, about 2 hours of people telling corny ass jokes, either out in the chat or on the show itself. So,
Some of them are funny. That joke he made about Squib's credit card was hilarious.
I ain't heard a good joke in forever. Probably 2 years.
it's because they're all old by this point.
All you gotta do is look at the president.
I don't know if that's a joke or depressant.
Oh, it's a clown show for sure.
Yes, but clown shows can be depressing. Jerry Lewis once made a clown movie so depressing they never released it.
Yeah, some clowns are sad clowns. Yeah.
The plot of the movie was that he was a clown in a concentration camp.
Yeah, I don't think that'll go over so well.
No,
Of course, there are people out there who don't know the difference between a concentration camp and an internment camp, or a POW camp and a concentration camp. So, I mean, really, it might, maybe in today's age, it might fly just because people are ignorant of history.
this was in an actual concentration camp. There are clips of it that survive online. I can't remember the name of the movie though. There's actually rumored to actually be a copy of it online somewhere too, but most of it's been destroyed. So I don't know if it's true or not that there actually is a copy that survives and is on the internet. But it is the internet, so you never know.
So Jerry Lewis was in a concentration camp?
In the movie, he was a clown in a concentration camp.
Oh, in a movie, not real
Yes,
life.
in a movie, not in real life.
There's Squib Lift.
Yep.
Squib, stop backing up, damn it.
Found the problem. There's not a chunk missing out of the tire. There's a chunk embedded in the tire.
Oh, either one doesn't help.
I'm doing weekly forklift PMs, and I got to the part that says, "Are the tires okay?" Not when it goes thump 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 thump. Somebody was in here during the day today before we came in to fire up the plant, and they made a mess all over the place. There's smashed up pallets, chunks of wood everywhere. They ran over one of the pallets that they smashed up, and it got wedged in between in the steer tire here. Any of you guys ever seen like a truck with dualies, like a UPS truck or a dump truck or something like that, get a chunk of asphalt caught between the two tires, and then it launches it into something?
Oh yeah, I've seen that when I was working at Greyhound.
Yeah, it's not a pretty sight. It smashes out a window or something. I've never heard of anybody getting hurt with it. I'm sure they have.
Oh, yeah, that's exactly what happened at Greyhound. One of the buses came in with something like that stuck in the tire, flung it, and went right through the windshield of one of the other buses. That was a fun day at work. The manager was going off on everybody like it was our damn fault.
Yeah, I don't deal well with managers like that.
So
If it is your fault, that's one thing. But because you're having a bad day, don't be a dick.
Yeah.
Like, don't be a dick.
It was so nice working second shift because the manager wasn't there First shift was easy because not a whole lot of buses came in, but you had to put up with that dickhead.
Yeah, his day could have got really bad.
Yeah, he's the kind of guy where if you stop to take a breath after working 3 buses, he was all over you, yelling and screaming at you like, dude, back off, man. I just worked these 3 buses. Can I stop for 5 seconds and catch my breath?
Hell no, it's not your break time. Get your ass back to work. There's a
God.
difference. Yeah, maybe he was justified to be a jerk to you.
Yeah, No, this was anybody who stopped. Heaven forbid if he caught you saying hi to one of the drivers. Seriously, are we supposed to ignore them like they don't exist?
We talking about work or the concentration camp?
He only said hi to the pretty ones.
Oh, man. I was so glad I was on vacation the week his son committed suicide. The guy said he was unbearable that week to be around. He took it out on everybody.
Yeah, I knew a guy like that once. He his son died, and he started taking it out on all the employees, or certain employees, I should say, the ones that he thought he could get away with it. He was the guy was a shitbag. He was kind of one of those self-serving assholes, and he's screwing around on his wife with one of the girls at work, and then I think his 10-year-old son died, and he took a promotion that really stressed him out. The guy was like, I mean, I don't want to see anything bad happen to anybody, but certain people, when they act a certain way, it's like, how am I supposed to have sympathy for this person? Somebody say, "Oh, that's cold and insensitive." Yeah, well, if you give everybody who decides to behave poorly a pass, I mean, people don't give me a pass. You're going to stop me from being the way I am.
Yeah, there's a line. You know, somebody having a bad day and somebody being a straight ass. And, that's that stuff where, that'll be my last day and you might be hurt when I leave. I don't do that. So, like, I can tell you a couple stories, but I probably shouldn't.
The best part is when you went in for your interview for the job, he's like, "Oh yeah, we're like a family." Yeah, but when you get there and you work for a shift, it's like, "Yeah, okay, we're a family, right? A dysfunctional one." Right. Other people,
yeah, but that's what you could say about all of us gun channels guys, is we're kind of like a family, just really dysfunctional family.
Gary's out there in the chat now. Evening, Gary. We haven't gotten to the dad jokes yet, so. Now we're just complaining about old bosses.
I had one boss that was a real jerk. I can share this one. I think there's a principle to this. Guy was a jerk, like straight up freaked out on everybody. Like, people quit because they tied a ladder on a truck wrong. Like, he'd be out there for 15 minutes going up and down your ass about it. He tried some shit with me one day. I just, basically told him to fuck off, like, freaked out on him and shit. Cause, justifiably, I was running Cedar Shakes, and there's, anyway, there's a ordeal. There's a story to it. Either way, he thought shit was crooked. It was level. Like this, we had one of these customers that came out with digital fucking bubble level and shit and wanted to throw up there. My shit was right. So the boss was just being a dick. And, anyway, I basically told him to go fuck himself, kind of. And at that point, we got along like best friends ever since. So, like, he totally stopped. Like, as soon as if you weren't willing to stand up for yourself, he would abuse the shit out of you till you quit. Like, he'd call you a pussy. Like, if you didn't serve your country, you were a pussy. That's just what he'd say that to anybody. Like, like, it's funny as hell. So, but as soon as you stood up, told his ass off, you were good. He never bothered you like that again. I think a lot of people just try to see how far they can get with you. So, you know, some people like getting walked over, and that's what your job wants. And other employers, they don't want a bunch of punk asses working for them. They'd rather you quit. So, I mean, you know, it's a 50-50 depending on what type of work you're in.
When I worked at China, we had this guy. He thought he was the boss, right? And I just went off on him right there on the front end of the store, in front of all the customers. Managers standing there, just laughing. I laid into the guy. Imagine that, right? Yeah, I mean, like I said, the manager's just standing there laughing his ass off. Everything I was saying was true, and the manager knew it. He's like, he had to pull me aside and talk to me about it afterwards, but I didn't get in trouble or anything. So,
Well, my opinion, if you screw up, you know, it should be addressed. You should expect to hear some crap, but, you know, if they're just having a bad day and want to be a dick, you know, I'm not your wife. Don't come in here and start bitching at me all day about your problem. You know what I mean? Like, that's no. You know, as I say it, I'm not your bitch, you know, and I don't mean that disrespectfully in any way. You could refer that to cocaine or whatever. Don't be something's bitch. Like, don't do it. Could be your credit card. I don't know, but don't be something's bitch. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not doing that. So, yeah, there's a general line of respect you're supposed to deal with a person. You know what I mean? Like, you might talk to your kid that way. You might talk to someone, but you're not going to talk to me that way. Like, hell no. There's consequences for shit like that. So, yeah. And yeah, it's some jobs just didn't work out, but yeah.
This is why you work for yourself.
Pretty much.
yeah, and then for
people who are self-employed,
With bullshit.
people who are self-employed, in my experience, are usually people that have trouble with authority and can't conform. Or they like to say, I own my own small business, when really they're just self-employed. There's a difference.
It won't conform. Yep. You bet it. So much authority and won't conform.
Pretty much.
Yep. Like, in order to fit in, you got to conform with something. It doesn't mean you have to like it, because there's all kinds of things we do in life that we don't have to like. All kinds of things.
Yeah, real quick, we've been joined by G23 and PA Reloader out there in the YouTube chat. So, evening, gentlemen.
I like the people that are self-employed and they like to brag about how good they've got it. And there's this guy that he worked all summer and he did sprinkler work. And he said, I get to walk around in good weather, in shorts. I'm my own boss, make my own hours. And then as soon as the fall hits, I go on unemployment for 6 months. The state pays me to not work for 6 months. And the next summer, I do it all over again. And, the guy he's like, I'm living a life, man. I'm living. And it's like, no, man, you're fucking milking the system. But yeah, he like bragging about that sort of thing. And there's other people I've met like that. People that, they kind of have they're borderline narcissistic in some cases. Like, it's like they have trouble with relationships and they think it's everybody else. And it's like, have you ever looked in the mirror? It might not be that, but nope, they're happy being alone. And don't get me wrong. Some people, have gotten to that point in life where they've been burned enough times and it makes sense, or that sort of thing. But then you've got the other people that, I'm not saying you have to be in a relationship to be somebody, but just some of the things that they do to cover up, like you can tell that they really are lonely, or they really are miserable, or they really are this. But the way they kind of fluff up their chest, not physically, but in the things that they say and how they do things, because they, that the best defense is a strong offense kind of thing. So it's like, don't try to bullshit me, dude.
I guess. Well, that refers to me.
Got Ozzy Osbourne out there in the chat too. Did I say Osbourne or Osbourne? Hell, it's the latter, not the former. It'll be interesting to see Ozzy Osbourne out there. I'll tell you that much. But yeah.
Shut.
And to answer, I think that was a question. If you want to think it's about you, then you can think it's about you. But I was trying to make some generalizations about people that I've met or have encountered over the course of my life. The same sort of thing about saying,
Just
you know,
clarify.
I do this because, well, if I was saying this about you, I'd say it's about you. But if you want to make it about you, we can make it about you. The whole point is that it doesn't matter if that's what somebody is like. If that's what they're like, but then they say something else to cover up for it, it says a lot about them. So, like I said, it's not that everybody needs to work for a company. It's not that everybody has to be in a relationship. It's not that everybody has to, whatever it is, right? Some people think that you're a certain way if you don't have a college degree, right? Or some people think you're a certain way if you never served in the military, or whatever the heck it is, right? But what I'm saying is when you're outright kind of fabricating reality in order to cover up your pain, that's sometimes I can see through that with some people that I encounter. These aren't necessarily always coworkers or friends or family members. These are people that I run into here and there, and just you can pick up on certain things that these people say to try to intercept any criticism, but yet they're going out there asking for it, I guess you could say. I don't know if I'm making any sense.
I think I get what you're saying. And I'd agree if my recollection is correct. Yeah. I see what you're saying. But yeah, there's lots of people out there with different problems. Everybody acts like they got it better than they do half the time. Or they act like they got it worse because they're looking for handouts. So, yeah. You almost can't really trust anybody. Look at their numbers. Look at what they do. That's what I'd say. Like, yeah. They asking for money or not?
Yeah, you've got a good point with that. You've got a good point with that. I can't unmute this thing fast enough.
Yeah, you guys remember last week's topic on the constitutional myths? That reminds me of one that I got into an argument with on somebody this week, where they were insisting that the Constitution says that we needed to have a welfare plan because at one point it says about the general welfare. Them completely not understanding what the fucking hell they meant by general welfare.
General welfare.
That meant, like welfare for everybody.
Yeah.
General welfare.
Yeah, see, that's where
Didn't
somebody
you
shows
command
how
the-
stupid they are.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? Where they're trying to misinterpret something, or this word has different meanings depending on how you apply it, and in this context, it means this. But you're just applying it with the one and only definition that you're aware of because you're ignorant. It's kind of.
That's the one they choose to recognize or choose to see it as because it would benefit probably them, right?
But sometimes that's part of the reason why I have issues with conspiracy theorists, because they will try to use a scientific fact to explain this, but that scientific fact has nothing to do with the thing they're talking about. But it doesn't matter. They're quoting science. It's like, yeah, if you open up a book or go into the internet, yes, what you just quoted is a scientific fact, but it has nothing to do with the topic. So how are you using this to quantify your theory? Well, it doesn't matter. It's science. It's like,
anything science applies where they want it to.
But yeah, so it's the same sort of thing as misinterpreting that statement in there. Provide for the general welfare, or promote the general welfare. Provide for the common defense, etc., etc.
Yeah, the ones that I always like are the ones that try citing Bill Nye the Science Guy like he's an actual scientist. The guy has a bachelor's degree in engineering, for fuck's sake. He has absolutely no credible education when it comes to actual science. He was a host on TV that read a fucking script.
Yeah, but Dr. Jill Biden is a really good doctor.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't want Dr. Dre doing surgery on you?
Medical doctor.
Dr. Alice Cooper.
What was that, Rob?
So you wouldn't want Dr. Dre doing surgery on you?
No, or Dr. J for that matter either. I guess Dr. J.
I heard Dr. Phil was not what he claims to be. I guess doesn't he have he's a doctor in something, but it's nothing. I don't know.
He lost
his
his license to practice. I forget what state it was.
You can have a doctorate degree, and there you are a doctor, but you're not a doctor. They're just like the welfare thing, right? When we hear the word doctor, we don't think of a higher maybe level engineer or a college professor or something like that. We think of a medical doctor.
Yeah.
Yep.
A lot of weird stuff out there. Oh, crap. I found a phone the other day.
Was it locked?
I don't know. I haven't tried turning it on or nothing. It was in the river. It's probably toasted. So
Put it in some rice.
yeah, I've had it for like 2 days drying out now, and now I should throw it in some rice. So AT&T phone. So no idea if the thing will end up firing up, if there's any info on it or what. So
It probably came out of the pocket one of the bodies that was thrown in the river.
maybe,
or they were just really mad about the text or phone call they got, and they decided to handle it like that. I don't know. I've had some phones I've wanted to chuck. Hell, this phone's only a month old, and I've wanted to break it a couple times.
I could have been stolen or something from somebody, and it was locked, and I got no idea. So be interested though.
What if it was lost in a boating accident? Oh no, that's just guns.
I am literally surprised that our cordless landline phones still work, because when the wife gets mad, the phone gets thrown.
Outstanding.
Well, they used to make those like legitimately. Yeah. You could beat somebody with a phone.
Fuck, you put a hole in the drywall with one of them old phones.
Yeah.
I could try to put a hole in the drywall with this thing.
So I'm not even sure what type. Yeah, I don't know nothing about AT&T phones, but doesn't say anything on the damn thing. So
It's a burn phone.
Yeah, it looks like an El Cheapo.
A burn phone. Fucking
Maybe.
drug dealer tossed it in a river.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Hey.
probably come on and be a whole bunch of drug dealers on there and gang members.
Or the freaking AT or the not the FT, the I can't even think of who would be the one doing the bust up for drugs.
DEA.
Hmm?
DEA.
Oh, the DEA. Yeah, the DEA kicks down your door. They've been fucking monitoring the phone.
Yeah, as soon as that phone comes on, location sends out, man. They kick it into your door.
No.
probably be full of Hunter Biden photos and shit.
Hey, we just got a signal from that phone on the guy we're tracking. Move in.
Yeah, if I attempt to turn that on, I might not do that here.
Well, you could take it to the police, and they could take the serial number and contact the carrier and figure out the calling plan, all that. And if it's a legit phone, it's not a burn phone, and they find out that the person is missing. They find out the person is missing, and then they want to know where you found the phone, and now you're a suspect. And
Hell no. I don't know if I told you. There's a story about one of my old neighbors. Dude was like, I don't know, pushing 70. Damn. Not a troublemaker, not a lifelong span of the law, any of this shit. Found a phone at the laundromat. Somebody left it over there. So he grabs the phone and searches through and contacts somebody. And they say, yeah, we'll let the person know this and that, da 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 da. And he's like, all right, great. Well, if you want, I could just meet you back at the laundromat as close to my place or whatever the guy was saying, and whatever. Next thing you know, the freaking police show up, and they had him jacked up against the wall out back of his house. Like, I ended up going out there, being seen, getting yelled at, all this shit, because they're like manhandling this old dude for trying to turn in a cell phone, trying to get him to cop to stealing the phone. Like, the hell? Like, and that dude's a police chief. Like, yo, so nah, I ain't going to the cops. What are you, crazy?
No, you are for fishing a phone out of a river.
It don't matter. It don't matter. They just want to solve a case. They don't give a shit whether you did it or not. If they can pressure you into being guilty for something, that's what they do around here. Hell with that.
Next week, Rob's going to find a nice gold ring with a finger on it.
Uh-huh. Yeah, Rob's going to fish out a body and take all the jewelry and throw the body back.
A long time ago, I had a cop tell me he was going to confiscate my work phone because I had a voicemail from somebody who had committed a crime on it. I told him to go fuck himself. I wouldn't give him the phone. I'm like, you dumbass, the voicemail's not stored on the phone. Get a warrant with Verizon and get a copy of the voicemail yourself. He didn't even know how it worked. Of course, shouldn't surprise me. I remember the time I brought in that single action to for the safety inspection back when we had to do that crap here. We don't have to do it anymore. And the guy didn't know how to flip open the loading gate. He's there trying to drop the mag out of a freaking grip on a revolver. Idiot.
They came over like 3 times trying to press this guy into admitting it. Eventually, he had to go to court over this shit. So I ended up going to court with him. Thankfully, the judge let me speak, and he actually dropped the whole case. But shit like that shouldn't happen. I just had this conversation with a friend about another situation earlier today. It's like deja vu. I'm standing on my porch having the same conversation about 2 different cases. But, you shouldn't have to do that shit. Like, it's ridiculous. They completely dismissed the charges from the guy. We were in there for like 5 minutes. We were gone. Like, and because he was half considering admitting the copying to it. That's why I actually went with him. I'm like, dude, don't do that. Like, next thing you know, they call it senior adolescence. You're stealing phones now. Now you're not going to be responsible for your own money. Next thing you know, they're taking all your house, your house, your money, all this shit. Like, you didn't do it. Don't cop to it just because they're harassing you. And like I said, the whole damn thing got dropped. The guy's like grandkids came over and thanked me. As a matter of fact, they ended up hooking me up, but that's a whole nother story. But it's like, I don't know, man. Like, I wish the police were like they're supposed to be around here, because they damn sure ain't.
They hooked you up. So what you're saying is the guy's grandkids were the drug dealers.
No, it wasn't like that. No, they just really appreciated it or whatever. And again, I'll just leave it there. So.
Uh-huh. We know what you meant. He's not really denying it, guys.
I think what he's trying to say is the corrupt cops where he's at. There's corrupt cops all over. Some places it's most of them. Some places it's just some of them. And of course, it goes back to the thing I'm always saying. If you don't want everybody to think that all cops are bad, then clean up your own house. Get rid of the bad cops. And if you're like, I can't do anything about it. Sure you can. When you get promoted to sergeant or captain or detective or whatever it is, at that point, you've got a lot more authority to change the culture in the department. Sure, if you're a beat cop or something, you're a rookie or something, yeah, you're not going to come in there and just change things. But when you've been there long enough and now you're the one holding the meeting before everybody goes out on patrol, you don't tell them to do stuff like they used to. Or if they're trying to change things to make you guys less effective in the name of progress, but it really isn't helpful. It's progressive, but it isn't helpful. Then maybe you do keep some of the old traditions around, just as long as they're not shitbag traditions. There's a lot of things that people can do if they stick with something long enough. They end up in a position of authority. But, if they don't want to do that, that's just not. But then again, hey, I suppose they're conforming. Some people, it's just like, I ain't losing my pension. I'm not losing my paycheck. I get it to some extent in some cases, and in other cases, I don't. Why did you take the job to begin with? I don't know. It's a little bit different when you're a government employee versus in the private sector. How many government employees think that they work in the private sector? They don't. That's maybe where I kind of have a difference between the two.
That's crazy stuff. And I'm not saying all cops are bad or whatever, but I'm not thrilled with our force locally. So I'll publicly state that. Whatever. So, but I have met good ones over the years in different situations and stuff. So, but yeah, what we got now is definitely lacking, in my opinion.
Hey, man, if you get that phone working, I think Patriot could take it.
Yeah, it might be his. He might have went all the way down the river from Michigan to New York.
It went up the Niagara Falls and still works.
Are you saying our shit floats downhill to New York?
It swam up the falls like a salmon,
That AT&T phone was jumping like a salmon, yeah.
I had one of them fancy cases with like a credit card holder built in, but it didn't do any good. Like, this thing was still soaked, so.
You completely submerge it in water. You think it's going to keep water out?
Well, I mean, probably not, but I'm just stating, like, there was mud and all types of shit in between the case and the phone. Like, wasn't the best.
On the bottom.
Okay, so why hasn't any engineer come up with a buoyant phone yet?
Because they want you to keep buying them.
The boat phone.
Yeah, the boat phone. It's got like a
Why
life
don't we have
preserver
light
on it.
bulbs that can last 100 years yet? Yeah.
There's one that's about 100 years old in New York City.
Yeah, but if you try to make one like that today, your ass will get fired.
Meh. I don't think anybody wants to
There's a
pay the
story
kind of money it takes.
dude with I think it was GE, or he had extra filament or something, so he used it in a batch, and the lights tested too well or some shit, and the dude got canned. It turned out to be like a big public thing you can look up. It was back years ago, back with this whole planned obsolescence started getting pointed out, that shit.
Oh,
Same
is this
thing with the auto
is this
companies, man.
is this the one about
in the graveyard in 7 to 10 years?
Yeah, I love the one about the carburetor that somebody invented in the 40s, 50s, or 60s. That'll give you 100 miles per gallon or something. And the auto companies bought the rights to it and shelved it and hid it so that
I'm
people.
sure they did. You see
Okay, a carburetor that gives you 100. I want you to really think about that.
Dude,
Stop for a second.
These guys running cars.
Stop for a second and think about that.
Carburetors.
Think about it for a second. A carburetor that will make a car get 100 miles per gallon.
Yeah, that ain't happening.
Right. Do you not understand? The carburetor is not the one sole thing that affects mileage. But somebody who doesn't know how to fucking car works is going to go, you're right. They did that. Yeah. It's so that, they can control stuff. And so that they, if they've got stocks in the oil companies, they just want you to buy more gas. Yeah. It's like, no, dumbass, learn how a car works and then come back at me.
Yeah, it's like the tires, too. Remember, they got tires that will never wear out, but they'll never make them because you won't buy any more tires. But yet you can't make a tire has to grip. You know what I mean? If you made a tire solid, rock hard, it would have no traction to it.
Exactly.
Yep.
Can't have solid tires on the street. It'd be like your big wheel.
Had this conversation with a guy that bought a Prius for his son, and he was bitching that he doesn't get the gas mileage and shit. But when he talked to the dealer and everything, they stated that he doesn't have the right tires on the car and all this too. So basically like you're stating, tires, a lot of it, the air pressure, there's a lot of shit that goes into that, cutting that fuel mileage down. So if you bought a used Prius and you didn't get your mileage, tires might be part of the reason. So something to look into. And apparently I can't say now, but at the time there was only like 2 manufacturers that sold the size for them, which was weird, but I don't know.
The mileage that they reflect on the sticker when you pick it up at the dealer is the absolute best possible under the most optimum. Yes, they do that. They do that to inflate the numbers to improve their sales. So for the way most people drive the vehicle under most conditions, and and then if you do, it's not even just changing the style of tire. That's one thing, but it's changing the size, or there's so many different things that go into mileage, aerodynamics, weight. There's no way to get something that's just going to get infinite mileage. And then when you do, it's going to be a tiny little freaking car that nobody wants. So people pay the gas guzzler tax because that's what they want. They want the big brawny V8s. That's America.
Well, they got to move that, American body around. You know what I mean? So, plus a lot of Americans got a little guy complex, so it seems. So they got to have the big diesel that sits in the parking lot all day, and the mud tires, even though they never go off road, and all this type of shit. I don't know. So it's all an image thing. Like, kind of crazy. Yeah. Some people feel safer in a bigger vehicle, and I can give you that. Like that, yeah, to an extent, sure. But other than that, I think a lot of people just aren't practical at all. I mean, in my opinion, the average guy that doesn't even use his truck doesn't need his truck, but it's a guy thing. You got to have your truck. You know what I mean? So, and then you got to have the big old balls of the wall truck because, you don't want to be laughed at by the other guys when you roll your truck up. So, I don't know. A lot of this shit we don't even need. Like, you don't. So I know people with trucks.
Man, it ain't about need. This is America. If it was about need, then this would be some third world shithole, which
well,
could turn
but
into
then
that one day.
everybody bitches about everything else in life. You know what I mean? But yet they're paying out the ass for this other shit because of wants, and then they're struggling with needs later. I mean, I don't understand. If you don't have your priorities in order, then stop your bitching. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Everybody that Rob knows is poor and irresponsible.
Oh, look where Rob lives.
Dude, it's 70%. Like, look at it, Google it right now. Like, 70% of Americans are in debt. All those people at the freaking food bank with cars got nicer cars than me. It's priorities,
must be doing something right. They must have conformed
too. You know what I mean? But they're getting handouts. They're on freaking welfare and shit, laughing at my beater vehicles.
Those are the ones that are dealing drugs on the side, Rob.
Well, that's got to be like everybody.
Yeah, don't be surprised. When we lived in Pittsburgh, you would hear on the news about the drug raids that were always done in the projects.
Well, I mean, shit.
These morons are living in the projects, collecting welfare, driving freaking Cadillacs, and wondering why the fuck they got caught.
Yes, everywhere here. Or it's, the old lady on disability that's living in a shithole with a nice car that's all done up with all their girly shit everywhere. And, pretty phone, pretty shoes, lives in a fucking slum and claims to be living the life, but she's broke as shit. Like, you know what I mean? That's just the majority of people these days. I mean, statistically, how many of you got $1,000 you could show on camera right now? $1,000 cash. Statistically, like the majority of people don't. You know what I mean? That's they trade that freedom for pretty shit.
Going back out to the chat real quick. We got 2 Live Moo out there who has a link, by the way. Krabby Turtle is out there in the chat.
After they trade it in, they want you to pay for the rest of their shit.
Bald and Curious is out there. I guess he is he still complaining about Daniel? I don't know. Got John Z. Well, the former John Z, now known as the New Jersey Outcast, because the Outcast thing apparently is spreading. There's more and more Outcasts every day, it seems. And Defense Dad is also out there. So evening to you, gentlemen. I guess they're gentlemen. I don't know.
I missed half of what Rob said because the Wi-Fi keeps dropping in and out because I'm moving around. But every time he starts talking like that, I go out and spend more money. Stop it.
Bald wants to know he doesn't have $1,000 of cash to his gold and silver account.
Well, okay, now that's something. If you ask some people, I've noticed older people think that in SHTF gold and silver is going to matter, but younger people don't. Just in some of the conversations I've had with a group of people of different age groups, I'm one of those people that says it can matter SHTF or not SHTF because it's tangible. Even though I deal with a lot of electronic stuff, I at least don't deal with stuff that doesn't, I guess, exist, like cryptocurrency.
Oh God, crypto's for idiots. I don't care what anybody says. If you're investing in crypto, I got a bridge I can sell you. If you want to lose your money, I mean, there's faster ways of doing it.
The people that make money are the people that, it's like a freaking pyramid scam. The people that bring it up, the people that sell it, the first ones in, and then they get all you suckers to get in there, and then they pull their shit, and it all tanks. Like it's the same story, different device or whatever. But
it's like the people that
people
buy
made
an NFT.
money, but it wasn't you. That's the difference. You know what I mean? It's the people that knew what they were doing, the people that were running the scam to begin with.
Yeah. It's like people that pay hundreds of, even thousands of dollars for an NFT, thinking that they own the thing outright and don't realize they don't have the copyright to that item. And the people that originally came up with it can sell multiple copies of that same thing. They're not buying anything that's worth anything. They're buying a piece of paper that says that they bought a copy of a copy of a copy of a copy that they have no actual right to. So people are dumb with some of the things they buy. You think that's going to be worth something? It ain't worth shit.
Yeah, I don't know. They're all I don't know, hustles is the way I look at them. You can make money, but you got to really know your shit. You got to be there. The little guy can't compete with the big guys. You're never going to make the same money. It takes money to make money, all that type of shit. I mean, look at our politicians with their inside trading with all their husbands and all this shit. That's completely legal, by the way. They should be making like 100 and something a year, but they all end up millionaires in like, I don't know, 2 years flat or something. So, you can, but you got to have the information. You got to have the connections. The average guy, I mean, shit, you can't expect much. You know what I mean? You really can't. So, but I'm poor. So what can I tell you?
Yeah. Bald, so crypto is a future. No, it's not. It's based in nothing. There is nothing whatsoever backing a crypto investment. There is nothing there. It is pixels on a computer. A server goes down that stores all that crypto information. Kiss your money goodbye. It's gone. Crypto is nothing.
If you don't possess it, you can't honestly count on it.
Okay, so the way I unravel every conspiracy theory is that they require decades and tens of thousands of people. So you're telling me over all that time and all those people, nobody ever spills the beans, right? So the same thing with cryptocurrency. When you buy it with dollars. When you sell it, when you cash it in for dollars. Now, I know there's some people that will accept cryptocurrency here and there, but for the most part, it's not a universally accepted form of currency. When you don't have to cash in cryptocurrency for dollars or buy cryptocurrency with dollars, then I might give some legitimacy to cryptocurrency. It's the same thing. It can be very easily unraveled.
It's way too many steps, man. You need power, you need some type of electrical device, and you need time to get your funds.
Yeah,
How the hell does that work in an emergency?
Yeah,
If you can even get them.
Yeah, I find it absolutely hilarious that some of the biggest people telling you to go out and invest in crypto are the same people that are scared to death that there's going to be an EMP, which is going to destroy the electrical grid. Then why the fuck are you investing in an electric currency that doesn't actually physically exist if you're worried about the grid going down, which will destroy any value that your crypto has because it's going to go poof as soon as the grid goes down?
Well, people are foolish, man. I mean, they'll spend regular money on fake money in a freaking app game just so they can make their farm bigger or get better tools or whatever the fuck it is. You know what I mean? Like, it's a virtual reality world, dude. Like, what are you doing with your money? But yet, you'll be one of those people bitching about the prices of everything. Like, it makes no freaking sense.
Didn't y'all just learn? Invest in ammunition. Just if you don't sell it, it at least makes you feel good. But don't you guys remember people getting $120 a box for 9mm? That's one hell of a payoff from your investment, man.
Yeah, I remember that, but it's really not my business, and it kind of feels bad gouging to me. But I'm sure a lot of people would have no problems with that. There's a difference between making money and gouging, in my opinion. Yeah.
Yeah, but, we only had it for, a year or two. What happens when the next spell's 4 years? It's not so much about gouging. It's almost providing to somebody in need,
Yeah, that part of it I get. Yeah. And, you're going to make a little something off it, but, I don't know. I got a conscience. I got a hard time charging somebody like 5 times the price just because I can.
Yeah, I do too. And I don't believe in gouging like in the beginning of a crisis or whatever. Like I said, what if it's a long time? You know what I mean?
I don't know. If they're a douchebag, like they're the ones always telling you why you spend all your money on guns and ammo. You're never going to need that. And then something happens. They come to you and be like, can I buy one of your guns and some of your ammo? Oh, yeah, I'm going to sell it to you for a fucking fortune, dude, because the whole time you've been telling me I've been wasting my time and wasting my money.
Well, I remember there was about 4 people in my concealed carry class that went through the whole 8 hours of classroom and did all that and then couldn't go and shoot the shooting part of it because they didn't have any ammo, and they foolishly didn't know what was going on, and they hurried up and took off to the local stores trying to buy ammo at the exact time the shelves were completely empty. There's not a hope anywhere picking up a box of 9mm, and they didn't, they couldn't complete it, so they wasted their whole time getting their CCW just because there wasn't ammo on the shelves.
They couldn't get their certification.
Nope.
You guys have like they gotta hit so many, have a qualification type thing or something, then I assume.
Yeah, you gotta do some shooting. They don't score you. You just gotta. They make you shoot different drills and stuff, and they know if you're confident with a gun or not, and they give you an approval. But no, they don't score. They don't take a target and score it. Bullseyes, 4 points.
They were willing to sell them.
Yeah, they don't really do that, but. Yeah, when times is hard like that, look at the infringement on the people, man. Those 4 citizens right there can't exercise their rights because of supply and demand.
I would have sold them ammo at that point. Like if I had enough to do mine and extra, and Golden probably asked her like, "Hey man, anybody cough up? You got extra rounds we can toss in for these guys? Like they're paying for it." You know what I mean? That's messed up that they got all the way there and couldn't finish because they couldn't actually fire the gun.
Real quick, Smiggy and CNT Designs and Arms right in the chat. So evening to you too. And Baldy Curious says, if the grid goes down and there's true shit hits a fan scenario, will gold and silver be worth anything? Yeah, because they've always been worth something. Because somebody will say what it's worth and they'll be willing to trade you something for it because it's pretty. That's the way it's always been. You go back, Christ, the ancient Egyptians, before the ancient Egyptians, and the oldest civilizations on the planet, when they started doing mining and stuff for metals, gold and silver were worth something. That those two metals will always be worth something. It doesn't matter what condition the world is in, gold and silver will be worth something, just even if it's just for the cosmetic value of it. And the people that are in charge want it as a status symbol. So that alone will make it be worth something.
Of course, if you have a lot of lead, it might be kind of easy to get your hands on some gold when shit hits the fan.
I think, like, Rich is what he's saying is right, but I think in normal barter transactions, that's going to lead to problems. Like, because a lot of people don't understand the value. You know what I mean? Like the difference between junk silver or not, the purities, and then you're going to have all the scammers that are trying to water shit down. Like, how do you know what that person's handing you? And I know they sell fancy shit now, like gold on credit cards where you can snap off little quarter ounces or this or that or whatever, but everybody doesn't have that shit. So some guy's offering you some coin that could be real, or he's offering you, I don't know, a case of water or this or that. You might just fucking say, I'd rather take the water, you know what I mean, or whatever. So, or ammo or alcohol or tobacco or medical supplies. So I would caution people on putting all their eggs in that. That's like your nest egg, but I wouldn't use your daily cash, because you start whipping gold and silver out, you're looking to get freaking robbed nowadays, let alone then. I would deal with shit that's more easier to move personally.
Well,
the situation for normal stuff, unless you're rich and you're talking about your whole fortune and stuff. But that's still, you don't walk around with a briefcase full of freaking gold. Like, good luck.
I'm going to end up buying a silver coin before the end of the night because of this guy.
Yeah, no, Bald, you're completely missing the point.
Well, it works with people that understand, but most of society, according to statistics, over 75% are broke ass people. They don't understand this shit.
Yeah,
so
Bald is completely missing the point of what I'm saying. Crypto is worthless because there is no physical crypto. It's all virtual. There is no real tangible crypto. It doesn't exist. It's air. It's nothing. There's nothing there. You cannot pick up a crypto coin and hold it in your hand. It doesn't exist. It's worthless.
It only has the values others that are willing to play the game recognize and place on it in the end. I mean, that's almost like anything, kind of. But
yeah, it's video game currency that somebody said, hey, let's trade this shit. It's worthless. It means nothing. You can hold a gold bar. You cannot hold a crypto coin. I don't care how much you try. You cannot put your hand into your monitor and pull out a Bitcoin. It doesn't exist.
Wasn't basically all that? Is all that from that crypto mining with the computer?
Yeah.
Stuff. So like all that's basically doing is your computer's running big, huge mathematical calculations, right? Trying to solve some kind of mathematical rhythm. And if your computer's successful, you're rewarded with this cryptocurrency. But the whole thing, you're getting paid, like you said, fake currency for your computer doing some kind of work for the Chinese government, right? They're suckering you in to using your computers and all the the 20 video cards in them and the electricity
Now
you're
you're a damn
pulling down.
spy too.
And all it's doing is solving a super duper hard mathematical equation for the Chinese government. I mean, this whole thing's a scam.
Yeah, it is.
Here's another way that I can prove that it's a scam. Let's say you put $500 into cryptocurrency and now it's worth $10,000 if you convert it, right? Pull the 500 you put in out and leave the 9,500 in there and just let that build interest. I guarantee they won't do it. And they won't do it because they know that it's a scam. They got to keep riding this lie in order. Here, if you get back all the money you put into it and you still have money sitting in the bank, whether it goes up or it goes down, you can laugh all the way to the bank saying it didn't cost me a damn thing. But if you refuse to take out everything you put into it when you built it up way past that, that proves that you're admitting that you know it's not real.
Yeah. And Bald, it depends on the gold bar. There are gold bars that are stamped as legitimate legal tender in certain countries. You can purchase things with those gold bars. People go and buy cars with gold all the time in different countries.
You can buy gold bars out of vending machines in Dubai.
It's easier to transport large amounts of money being gold. It's actually smaller and lighter than trying to take that much cash.
You go into any of the major luxury cars. I'm not talking BMW, Mercedes. I'm talking about like Rolls Royce, Ferrari, Lamborghini. You go into one of those dealerships with a gold bar, they will take it as currency.
Yeah, don't be a sucker, Bald. Goddamn, you're a New Yorker. You should know better than this.
Yeah, he doesn't get the point that gold has always been and always will be worth something just because of the pretty cosmetic value of it, and the ones that have the means to get it are going to use it as a status symbol. He doesn't get that point either. That's prior to the gold standard that was put on currency around the world at one point. Gold was just the item that was held by the rulers of the area because they used it as a status symbol because it was pretty. Now, you know, everybody has some gold in there. Those people have some type of gold, even if it's not.
No,
Gold is also held in the belief of many just to have like magical properties. You know what I mean? It will always be desired by any civilization.
It's used in some electronics as well, and silver is usually antibacterial has antibacterial products.
Antibacterial. That's why silver was used.
And obviously that's electronics as well too.
Silver is antibacterial and antimicrobial period, which is why they used it in silverware. Because
and my helmet's got silver in it. My boots have silver in it.
Yeah. Your computer has gold in it. We're all using some form of computer right now, even if we're on a smartphone. A smartphone is a computer. A lot of people did, oh, no, it's a phone. No, your smartphone is a handheld computer, people. That has some amount of gold in it.
You know what they say, like people that scam never want to admit they got scammed. Like they're like the last to get it and they're embarrassed. They don't tell their family. Like they tell you to check on your parents about these phone scams and shit, because if it happens, more than likely they won't tell you because they feel embarrassed. That's what's happening with Bald right now. Somebody needs to give him a pat on the back and tell him it's okay.
My phone's not a computer, Rich. It's a Star Trek communication device, man. What was it? Comlink? That's what I got.
A tricorder.
Here, you bring up Star Trek and the phones and stuff. Here's where everything goes round in a circle with this shit, right? The Motorola based their flip phones on the Star Trek communicator. So the first series, the original
That's-
series.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, if you were
it-
trading your shit in these crazy times, not now, but shit hits the fan, what would you be willing to accept? Because that's really what matters. Value's in the eye of the beholder. Do you want this possible gold, possible silver, or do you want something you can actually use?
you know what? A little bit of anything. I mean, you still want to diversify, even in a shit hits the fan situation. You still are going to want to
But
have
what would
some
you
gold.
accept from the guy next door? Some stranger shows up and he wants to barter for your shit. What would you be more comfortable taking? Something
Depends on
you
what
know
he's
is
got.
100% or something you're taking a chance on?
Again, gold and silver are always going to have value. It's always going to be good to have a little bit because somebody is
With the
going
right
to
people.
take.
Yes.
So I'm not saying you want to, in a shit hits the fan situation, you just want gold and silver. That's not what you damn sure in a shit hits the fan situation. You don't want crypto.
In shit hits the fan, suddenly now paper money's worthless. Suddenly now my credit card doesn't work. Suddenly now crypto is really proven to be as fake as it really is. But you want to have some sort of universally acceptable currency. Precious metals are going to be that universally accepted currency. Copper, silver, gold, they're going to be universally accepted. If you already have everything you need, you have a surplus of it, and somebody doesn't have anything to trade other than silver or gold, then you can trade it for silver or gold, but you're going to do it at a profit if you have any brain. And then that's going to be universal. It needs something somebody else has and you have, but you've got silver or gold. And that will become the universal currency. And just where there is fraud, where people can freaking hack your stuff and make fraudulent charges, or there's counterfeit money out there, there's going to be some fake precious metal out there. But it's probably just going to be accepted the way some other things are just accepted today. When I moved up here from down south, I'm going to find out they take Canadian money here because we're so close to the border. You're not going to get that accepted everywhere across America because Canadian money is worth less. But here, the Canadian quarter is worth as much as an American quarter because there's just so much of it right here because we're 30 minutes from Canada. So it's the same sort of thing. It's the same sort of thing.
Yeah, Pittsburgh was a couple.
You're
Was a
risking
few
your life
hours.
trying to hustle me a fake bag of M&Ms after shit hits the fan. Okay, don't do that fake shit.
Yeah. One of the reasons why there's so much Canadian currency in the United States in circulation is because if you look at the Canadian penny and the Canadian quarters, before they started putting the angled sides on it, they were exactly the same size and shape as what U.S. Pennies and quarters and dimes and nickels were. People weren't paying attention when they were counting the stuff out, and you would get handed Canadian money all the time. I knew that from when I was working a cashier. You would go to count your drawers like, shit, this is Canadian. And that was in Pittsburgh. We used to get all kinds of Canadian money in Pittsburgh even. And that's a few hours from the border.
Some Canadians like, I got that, dumbass. Hey.
Oh, there's a lot of Canadian coin currency that's in circulation in the United States.
Oh, yeah, I got a bunch. I always just sneak it off, put them in them stacks, and send it off to the bank.
Well, it would be
Like
really
they don't
nice.
weigh them or nothing, at least not there in front of me. They just stack it all in trays and shit and carry it off somewhere. But usually I'm cashed out by that point.
No, it's not because we hope, Bald. It's because history says it will be worth something. Again, before there were paper currencies, gold and silver were the trading currency. They always have been. They always will be. Even if it's only because cosmetically it's pretty to look at.
Yeah, dude, even with history, like it's already been a fact. Crypto wouldn't when that show up, like last year, a couple years ago.
It's been a few years now.
Yeah, but still, you're talking generations, like hundreds of years further. You're going to compare that to something that just popped up a year or two ago? Please.
It's the mark of the beast.
I don't know, man. We shouldn't be too hard on Bald. Maybe he deserves to get busted down to a Honda instead of that BMW.
You know, guys that believe in crypto get beat in shooting competitions by Daniel Guys, my judge. That's all I got. I mean, I just want to, you know.
Oh, that's too low blow right there.
I heard
getting too
crypto will
dirty
make
right
your
there.
junk smaller.
Well, I'm about ready to bail out, man. I sure had a rough one today. I ran my ass off out at the shooting range, and man, boy, I put in too much work. I wore myself out.
Now, Bald's going on. Why aren't we on the gold standard? Because there's too much money in circulation with business and whatnot around the world for anybody to have their currency based on the gold standard at this point in time. There's not enough gold on the planet to cover all the damn business transactions, let alone transactions among the average citizen on the planet for anybody's currency to be based on gold.
There's enough gold in the planet, but not on the surface of the planet.
No, not in the no. There was a paper that was written by a bunch of scientists and economists. If an alien were to come down right now and offer the United States to buy all the mineral wealth of the entire planet, not just what the United States territory, but the entire planet, they wouldn't be able to raise enough money to even pay off the U.S. debt, let alone cover all the currency that's in circulation around the world.
All I know is I keep some gold handy just in case I got to deal with some Cyberman.
All I know is I'm poor, so I ain't got to worry about gold. And statistically, neither do 70-some-odd% of you guys. So, yeah.
All right, guys, I'm gonna head out. Y'all have a good one.
All right, Jason, catch you later.
See y'all later. Take care, chat. See y'all.
We lost
Gary,
Squibby.
Yeah, gold's big money, man.
Uh-oh.
Talking
Looks like
gold
your
bar.
ladies out there challenging or taking a challenge from Bald and Curious.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Hey, don't let him do that over the YouTube challenge crap. Tell his ass show up in person, back that shit up. Sorry, well, he probably heard me. Sorry.
And he's still going on about paper currency. Like, any of us have said that paper currency is worth anything in a shit hits the fan situation. I believe Squib specifically stated that paper currency won't be worth shit either. So I don't know why you keep wanting to pawn off on us like we're defending crypto by going to paper currency. None of us have defended paper currency in the least. You're bringing in something that we're not even talking about. They're trying to defend your inexcusability for defending something that doesn't exist. We've all talked about actual hard material that you can own. You're talking about cyber shit and you're trying to bring money into it. None of us have said anything about money, actual US dollar bill or anything. So maybe you need to ask yourself why you're so caught up on the paper money and crypto, Bald, because none of us have mentioned paper currency except to laugh at people that take Canadian currency.
I'm glad I am not in a position to read the live chat.
Oh,
We
man,
haven't defended paper currency, Bald. Did you not listen to a word I was just saying? None of us are defending paper currency. We've never even brought it up. You're the one that keeps bringing it up.
In SHTF.
Yes.
For day to day while the world's still civilized. paper currency is legit and crypto isn't.
In some defense, I would state, depending on the time length of SHTF, I think paper currency would still hold some value for a small period of time. Just because people are used, like there's a term for it, I can think of it now, but it's normalcy, it's complacency. People will recognize a value and hope that, in 2 weeks, everything will be better. There's going to be a lot of those people too. So maybe for a small period of time, it would hold some value, but wouldn't be the same. And every day, less and less people would want to accept it. So
it's going to hold its value a hell of a lot more than what crypto is. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, it'd still be better than crypto. Yeah, you can go down to the grocery store and actually walk home with something.
Yeah, I mean, a steel quarter is going to be worth a hell of a lot more than a Bitcoin, simply because it's steel.
After the shit hits the fan, try talking to your broker about getting all your stocks and shit and see how that works in your crypto and stuff.
That's just it. I was getting into it with a guy that is telling me that the way I spend my money right now is foolish. I need to invest as much of my money as possible. Not necessarily in crypto, but just invest it. Right? And I'm like, what good is it doing me investing it? It's like I can run around and brag to everybody how much money I've got in my investment. But that's all they are investments. I get hit by a bus, I guess Rich's Greyhound bus, tonight. It ain't going to do me no good. So do I want to just sit on my butt and not do anything and not live my life and not have any fun and not do anything and just put it all in the bank, and then when I turn 70, retire and then go, all right, I've got tons of money. Now it's time to do what? To do what? My health is failing and I have to take 16 pills a day, and
can't even enjoy hookers and drugs at that age.
Yeah. Well, I mean, some people beyond 70 do well. I mean, I've seen people fall apart before they hit 70, and I've seen people go strong for another, 15 years. So I'm not saying life ends, but what I'm saying is the things I like to do with my life require a certain amount of strength and stamina and mental fortitude. And as I get older, I see that stuff fade. So I've been scratching stuff off the bucket list. And I'm not going to scratch that stuff off the bucket list if I'm taking 60% of my income and dumping it into dividends or what the fuck ever.
Yeah, just because it's the 21st century, that doesn't mean that crypto is the money that you want to have. Good Lord. It's the 21st century, yeah, and so they were, believe it or not, they were cryptocurrencies in the 20th century too. And you know what? They all failed.
I think that if somebody wants to invest most of their money in anything or diversify it, that's their money. It's their damn business. It's when they try to put your arm behind your back and they won't stop until you do what they do. And it's like, dude, unless you're a broker. Now, if you're a broker or banker, okay, I get it. You're selling a product. Okay, but if you're not, if you're just doing this and you're looking to validate your position by saying everybody has to do what I do. So if you're a banker, then I totally get it. You're going to. Every time you talk to me, you're going to hand me your business card and say, hey, man, you should really set up a Roth IRA with me. But otherwise, I don't. And I guess there's people out there that are worried that if they don't convince everybody they know to invest money, that these are the same people that are going to knock on their door one day and ask for a handout. I'm going to slam the door right in your face. Why you think I blast people that e-beg?
I like that laugh, Squid. That's a funny laugh.
Yeah, it's my evil laugh.
It's like a TV character, cartoon, something. Not cartoon, but it's a good one. It's fitting.
Laughter is a good thing, even if it's fake.
Oh yeah, to each their own, man. I mean, yeah, misery loves company, and people like to, I don't know. People do things for all different reasons. So, I mean, maybe Bald feels he's really onto something, and we're all misguided, and he's trying to enlighten us. But it's his fortune. So, Yeah, I'm a firm believer in tangible. You want to invest in something tangible. And some of that you lose money on, like taxes for property and things like this. But you know, you have alternate plans for a lot of this stuff. But yeah, at least something real. You know, it's like I said, I just it all falls back to like those little video game apps where people are throwing real money in for fake money for a game. Like it just I think people got too much damn money or something. I don't know what the hell's going on.
And I'm
Well-
starting to think that Patriot has a really weird kink.
You mean just one? I'm sure there's probably more than one.
He's a blind Marine, so yeah, that possibility does exist. But he
Hey,
brings
stay
up
out of his
midget
business
tossing
like that.
a lot.
Let me see if I can squint and read this on my phone. That's right. I demand all of
Read it for
you start investing in midget tossing. I gonna start a league.
Whoa. I've got Outcast bucks. It's crypto. You send me your real cash. I'll print out some Outcast cash for you.
Yeah,
And
Out
it'll
cash?
be worth more. Yeah.
I'll give you some rich white guy money. How's that? Does that work? But it's a crypto. It's not actual cash.
Cash me outside. How about me?
And you let
some
me know when you
Monopoly
want to
money,
use
if
it.
that'll
And I'll
work.
charge you a fee to buy what you want with it. And then we'll keep going from there. But it's good, man.
But yeah, I mean, if you'll take Monopoly money as cash, I got some of that. I can invest that in your midget tossing. I mean, that Monopoly money is actually more valuable than actual crypto because Monopoly money is actually real. It's there. You can feel it and touch it. It's actually made out of paper. If it comes down to it, shit hits the fan, you can still use it to wipe your ass. Just be fancy toilet paper at that point. But, I mean, you'd have to use a whole lot of it, but, the theory is sound.
Okay, Rich.
Fancy bamboo toilet paper.
I'm looking on Amazon right now. You can buy a refill pack of Monopoly money. Oh wow!
Seriously?
Yes, yeah, $12. Let's see, 2 sets of 30. Oh, wait a minute. The way this is written, it looks like it's foreign. It's probably from China. Hasbro
probably.
Monopoly money. Here we go. $11.70. All right, what do we got?
Whoa. Is that legitimate?
Only
that from
12
the
left in
game
stock.
maker?
Order soon. Sold by 105 Distribution Inc. Made in China, probably.
Is it Mattel or not?
It says brand Hasbro.
So, yes.
Batteries required.
Okay.
No. Size 1 package. Yeah. So.
Well, I'm not buying $100 of any crypto, Ethereum, Bitcoin, Doge, any of it. I'm not buying any of it. Period.
I mean, I think there's still some money to be made at some point with these things, but like I said, you gotta be on the ground floor of some of this stuff. And,
That shit
once
does
everybody
sell.
throws their money in and kicks the values up, then you cut your money out, and that's been the form that everybody does. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, unless you're in the initial group, it just probably ain't gonna happen. And that's the group that gets advertised, all this. Oh, look, people make money and all this type of shit. But it's
Yeah.
just
The only other
pyramid
people that are
scam on a
making,
different system.
the only other people that are making money off of that shit are the ones that can afford to build a mining farm where you have 10, 12 video cards hooked up to a single computer that are doing nothing but mining for this currency over and over and over and over again. That's all these computers do on these video cards, which is why now with the crypto bust that just happened, by the way. Yeah, that's something that the crypto people want to tell you about. It's a bubble. Every time this stuff goes up in price, it's a bubble, and it bursts and it crashes down, and that's when you see a bunch of used video cards hit eBay, which is exactly what we're seeing right now. Why? Because people are getting out of the mining aspect of it because they're not making money on it anymore, and they're trying to recoup what they bought their video cards for before the video card prices go down the toilet because the market's being swamped with all these used video cards now. Yes, I would still think the same, Bald and Curious, because you're never going to see a person make 1 Bitcoin off of their mining shit anymore. It's not happening. It's not there. It's not to be made. One reason, because Bitcoin's not based on the standard mining anymore like it used to be.
Said relax, because some of us out there might have had a few bucks in this crypto, and if shit hits the fan, we're gonna need people like Ball to take that off our hands for his supplies.
I mean, yeah, when shit hits the fan, I'll sell them all the crypto I have, which is none, but
you just write it out on a scrap piece of paper, your information, this is my crypto number, and that should be acceptable to him, right?
Yeah, it should, right? Yeah. Your crypto wallet for your PayPal account. Yeah, that should work. No, I don't have to worry about crypto if shit hits a fan because I don't have any. I'm not investing into something that doesn't exist. Again, you might as well be going into a video game and buying video game currency because that's all it is. It's just video game currency that somebody somewhere along the line said, hey, let's pretend that this is actually worth something.
So you doing anything gun related today?
I was on Gary's show. Does that count?
No. Did you clean your gun, fondle it a little bit, something?
I'm carrying one.
What about you, Squib? Anything gun related today? Do some reload or something? I never hear about you reloading, but you're a reloader. I'd expect you to be on all these reloader chats, screaming at people. Oh, he quit. Forklift must have killed him.
Yeah, maybe he got run over by the forklift. And the best part is he was the one driving it.
You ever drive one?
Did I ever drive a forklift? No. I never worked anywhere where we had one.
I drove quite a few. I was never licensed or something, but I could drive anything, so people will just have me drive it, I guess. So I don't know.
I've
driven
driven
one of those huge ones, like a big ass Clark something. I don't even know what the hell size it is, but the thing was huge. 4-wheel drive. loading the cell tower buildings, aggregate siding. They're lined with steel, all that type of shit. For the electrical and everything for all the equipment. Some heavy ass shit. Like you can pick a car up with those with nothing. Like nothing. Work truck, anything like that. So got to mess around with those for a bit, but that's about it.
Drove cherry pickers when I was working construction.
Yeah, we've driven those. Shit, Lindsay's driven boom lifts. Ran skid steers with all the different attachments or whatever. Bobcat skid steer. Everybody calls it something different or whatever. But
everybody calls them Bobcat because that's like the prominent brand.
Yeah. But those forklifts can be fun, man. Those little Nissan turbo jobbies, like you can get them burning out, doing donuts and shit. Like it's pretty cool. Like I know you're not supposed to do that stuff, but let me tell you, slick cement floors, you can have some fun. Shit.
What were you asking me? I was tied up.
Ooh, kinky.
Not like Patriot in the Dark kind of tied up.
Oh, okay. Well, you're a Marine too, so you never know.
Yeah, I have to say that seen a lot of stuff. Especially in Europe. Boy.
Well, I can imagine. Europe's why everybody's afraid of monkeypox right now. The craziness that goes on over there.
Monkeypox. What about all them monkeys that escaped some accident in PA? Bunch of monkeys got loose. It was like some big and shit.
They caught all those things.
Yeah, that's probably where the monkeypox came from.
No. That's not. No. Monkey. I don't know if you've been following the monkeypox story.
But I seen one of them slept with a crackhead with an STD, and it turned into some monkeypox.
In Africa, monkeypox originated in Africa because somebody screwed a monkey.
That's AIDS.
Yeah, that too.
Okay. So what's with this monkey fucking?
I don't know. Maybe they're born in Africa.
I mean, I don't know if you noticed, but them things are mean. They will rip your face off. So first off, how do you get one? What do? You subdue it?
Drug it. Yeah.
So what, you got to use like a date rape drug on a freaking orangutan?
Cocaine to the party, man, and the monkeys will do whatever you want them to.
I would think it would probably be easier to like get some. Oh, well, let's see. What do they got over there? Zebra? No, they'll run away.
That would be Canada.
Elephant? No, they'll step on you. Hippopotamus has killed more people than everybody thinks they're cute. Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to think of what over there. Yeah, I don't think it would be a good idea to try to. Okay. What's wrong with just fucking another person?
Some screwed up people, man.
Hey, here's the thing. I don't know if you guys have been seeing the stories on it that came out this week. You just had the government and the medical journals and everything agree that, you're more than likely to get it if you're a gay guy having gay sex with another guy. How are they going to explain the kid and the dog that have both been diagnosed with it?
Supposedly, we were under some emergency or some shit, the state, because of the, I guess we had like 2 confirmed cases or something like that. I don't know, last I heard. So the whole state's under a freaking emergency. Like, there's got to be some funding shit to this, because 2 people? Are you shitting me? Like, we're one of the most populated states in the country. Like, you get the hell out of here. You're gonna call a whole emergency off this? Like, doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, but did you catch the aspect of it that I just said? The government has stated that, this is pretty much a sexually transmitted diseases that disease among gay men. There was a little boy
Yeah,
and a dog that
that's
were
nothing new
diagnosed
from
with
the
it.
government, though.
No, but you're not catching what I'm saying. The government says it's a sexually transmitted disease between gay men. There was a dog and a boy that were diagnosed with it. Gay men, dog, boy. You get where this is going? We'll give Rob some time to see if he can calculate.
It sounds like animal abuse to me.
It sounds like there's some really freaky people out there right now. We got some Muhammad shit going on. If
But
you
is the boy a Biden?
I don't know.
All right.
It just well, no. If it was a Biden, they would be hiding the laptop.
I don't know. That's crazy, man. Hopefully, I don't know. Like, yeah, now I feel bad because obviously, yeah, any child being sexually abused is not a funny thing. So
No,
but,
I'm not saying it's a funny
that-
thing.
that-
It's just
yeah, if that's truly the case, or what if you connect the dots, that's what you're getting at. And then the dog, like Jesus,
yeah, that's where the dots lead to. When you connect the dots, it's like, oh fuck,
Well, I was thinking about the monkey thing. What if it was like a chick and then the monkey banged the chick? Like, because possibly she got raped. Like, I don't know if you know about monkeys, but they're freaking nasty, man. They're bad.
Yeah, no kidding.
Like they're not all cute and friendly and shit like TV.
You ever go to the zoo and one of the,
people think that.
When you were in school, did you ever go to the zoo and one of the girls in your class was on her period at the time? You go into the monkey pen and they all start whacking off. The baboons are really bad for it. So yeah, monkeys are nasty.
Might have been a tragedy, honestly. That's how I got started versus some weird guy.
Patriot brings up gerbils. I'm not even gonna go down that road.
Richard Gere.
Yeah. I think South Park's already covered the gerbil thing. Remember Lemming Winks? He wasn't even a gerbil. He was a poor lemming, that poor little creature. One that they put up Mr. Slave's ass. And it was like some kind of medieval quest that the poor little lemming was on. Really demented episode of South Park, and that's saying something.
So I don't want to pick on Bald, and I'm not trying to, but wasn't the rule like the winner had to make a video that stated like how the other whooped their ass and was better than them, almost like Kingpin's joke video?
Yeah. I don't know.
I thought that was like the goal.
Is Bald even out there still? He hasn't said anything in a while.
He might have rage quit. I don't know, but I'm wondering because it seemed like that was the impression I got. But then I seen his video, and it's like all he was doing was talking smack about everything being rigged or something. So, so if that's the case, then he really didn't honor up the deal. He didn't make the video. So I don't know. I'm just wondering.
I don't know.
Maybe I shouldn't be because he's already had a bad night.
Moose says, Grape Ape Pox must be a bitch. Oh, my Lord. Yeah. Anybody getting raped by Grape Ape would be a bitch. You guys remember Grape Ape, right? The great Grape Ape?
No, but I remember that chick that did a documentary with the apes that seemed a little too freaking friendly for my
You don't remember the cartoon
video.
Grape Ape? The beagle?
No.
Black and white beagle driving around in a van with this giant purple 8-bit right on top of the van. Oh, man.
Not really. that I can think of.
Misfits out there talking about your local news guy that ended up in the yard with a gerbil in his butt. My wife, when she was working,
Yeah, that's the thing.
yeah. Well, when my wife, when she was working the ER, they had a gay guy come in with a Coke bottle stuck in his ass because it formed a vacuum. He couldn't pull the
I'd
bottle.
get fired. Like, I'd get fired for laughing my ass off, embarrassing the patient. You know what I mean? Like, dude, like, come on. You know how many times we hear that shit? Like, come on, man. Like, come on, be honest. Like, you know, they'd hate me. We'd get sued. I'd get fired.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I told my wife repeatedly I couldn't do her job. I'd go off on somebody.
In the last year, bro, like, you got a problem. Just admit it. You're at the wrong hospital.
Ooh, she remembers Grape Ape. Well, you need to educate Rob, because he apparently doesn't.
He'll tell
Those
you he didn't
people that
watch
just
TV,
refuse
and
to
then he'll
believe.
turn around and tell you he watched TV.
I don't remember Grape Ape, man. I don't. Like,
dude, Grape Ape was awesome. The giant purple ape and the little
I mean, it
black and
sounds
white
like a candy
people.
or a Kool-Aid or something. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
They went around solving crimes and shit.
Remember DuckTales?
Oh, DuckTales.
Launchpad McQuack. Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, DuckTales was the shit. And then they came out with Chippendales Rescue Rangers, and then Goof Troop, and what was the other one? Tailspin, and Darkwing Duck, which was a pseudo spin-off of DuckTales, even though they didn't take place in the same universe. But both had Launchpad and Gizmo Duck on them. And Moo says he has many, many stories from his time when he was in medical imaging. Oh, yeah. I'm sure you do. I'm sure you do.
You should write a list, and then one of these nights he's having a few drinks, pop on one of these shows, and enlighten us. Tell us how twisted and sick the average person is.
Working in healthcare, you have to have a sense of humor or you will go insane.
I don't know how people can do it, man. Some people are like just batshit crazy. Some are like blind to things, like, you know, their smell, like, because they just, I don't, you know, you're only supposed to wash your clothes twice a year. What are you talking about? I mean, I don't know what the hell these people are thinking, but I don't know how, you know. I hand it to these people. There ain't no way in hell I could do that. Ain't no way in hell.
I don't even want to know how that woman managed that one. I mean, if he would have said uterus, I'd have been, yeah, okay, I can see that. But her bladder going up the urethra, ooh.
She was real hungry, huh? No. Oh, no.
No, she would have had to have drank it in that case. But even then, it still wouldn't have made it to her bladder. Yeah. That's some sick shit.
I don't know where you get pleasure out of a fork. I really don't.
A fork in the urethra. I mean, yeah. I mean, a catheter is uncomfortable enough. I don't even want to think about a fork.
I seen a thing where like some dude inhaled like a little tiny action figure guy. I mean, the thing was tiny. It was like a centimeter big or something, some little toy like that. and he went on for like 10 years or something, and then had like serious chest problems, and they found it in his lung. And I guess they ended up removing it or whatever, but he'd gone on for all this time. Somehow he inhaled a damn toy. Like, I don't know how the hell you do that, but that makes you wonder, because think of all the stupid shit you did when you were a kid. So, I mean, shit, there might be a penny in there. God only knows, you know? It's shit.
Ozzy
Candy. How many times you ate something and it went down the wrong tube? Once in a while, that shit might have stayed down the wrong tube.
Yeah. Ozzy brings up Hong Kong Phooey. That was another good one. With Scatman Carruthers as the voice of Hong Kong Phooey. Number one super guy.
Was it? Assume that's a cartoon?
Yeah. You don't know Hong Kong Phooey either?
No, man.
Oh my God. The dog that was the janitor at the police station. He would hit a gong and he would turn into Hong Kong Phooey.
It could be because of his age.
Yeah, he jumped in the drawer and turned into a masked Kung Fu superhero. And he would hit the gong and his little car would come out of the side of the cabinet. And
okay, yeah, somewhat sounds familiar.
This one's as bad as the guy that I was talking about with the Coke bottle up his ass. Probably a little bit more embarrassing. I'll read this for Squib. There was a dude that had a doorknob stuck in his butt. The fire department had to cut the door around the knob. He arrived into the ER face down.
Oh, God. See, I'd start to wonder if part of the fetish is having somebody pull it out. You know what I mean? Like, you know, like there might be a point where, you know, this ain't my job description, man. Like, you know, to take part in your fantasies and shit. Like, I don't know. I felt awkward getting an STD test where, you know, first time it was a chick, second time it was a dude. Like, dude grabbed my junk, stuffing a Q-tip up there. That was a weird experience. Like, you know, I wouldn't want that job on the other end. I really wouldn't.
No. But this guy Moose talking about, I don't know if you've ever seen those videos. Again, psychology classes. I love taking psychology. But one of the videos we had to watch for the class, because the subject matter for that time period was the effects of pornography on the modern mental psyche. One of the videos was a girl using a bedpost as a dildo. Yeah, I'm not talking like some little bit. This thing was bigger around probably than what that doorknob Moo was saying this guy had stuck in his ass. It's amazing that the girl didn't get that stuck in her. Okay? People get off on this shit. It makes you wonder about some people.
It does, man. They sell toys for all types of crazy shit nowadays. Like, yeah. You can legitimately probably buy some weird shit you don't want somebody to know about it, get it shipped in an undiscreet box, and safely go through your deal without getting things stuck in you and having to call emergency service.
Seriously. Well, what does it say about a chick where a dildo's not big enough? They got to use a fucking bedpost.
They might want to move to Canada. I hear that shit's legal.
No. Oral sex with animals is legal in Canada, according to their Supreme Court.
Horses. I guess you can
That's
get
probably how the
several
dog
different
got
rides
monkeypox.
depending on what you're into.
Yeah. Now that I think about it, oral sex in Canada with animals, that might be how the dog got monkeypox. It's those damn Canadians.
Dude, what about that job where like the people jerk off a horse to like breed them, like into that weird bag
you
thing?
mean like on dirty jobs?
What the fuck? Yeah, like no, man.
Oh yeah. I've seen something like that down in Mexico.
Mexico, they do that
and
for
in the
a
Philippines,
sex show.
they got it in the Philippines too.
Yeah, the old donkey shows.
Yeah, that's what he's talking about, right?
No,
Oh.
we're talking about dirty jobs where Micro had to beat off a horse as part of the job that he was doing because he was working on a horse ranch.
Oh, okay.
Because they that's the only way you can collect the sperm from a horse. You have to do it that way. Because the machines won't work. They tried to come up with a machine for it, but it wouldn't work because of the way their anatomy's made. They went on a whole thing on that episode explaining why you can't do it with machinery. The only way you can do it is manually.
So, how's that interview go? Like, do you have a strong stroke? I mean, is that like one of their questions? I mean, how does that? That's just crazy, man.
I don't know.
What they do is they say, close the door, close the blind.
Huh?
Yep, they just say do that, and then you hear the zipper, and like, all right, now it's time to audition.
Oh man, did you guys? We're talking about that. That just reminded me too about something else that I learned from taking psychology. Do you guys know?
What? Think he cut out.
Yeah, something went screwy there for a second. But there are dildos that are shaped like animal sexual organs now. Horse, dog.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna start donating to PETA at this point. They keep this shit up.
How do you know this, Rich?
I had to take a class on this shit as part of my psychology class in college. That's how I know all this shit. It's like, this is stuff I wish I didn't know at this point. It's like, ew.
Got some strange clubs in your area, huh?
Yeah, I guess, man. This is why I don't have a degree.
No, seriously, we were studying pornography.
Dude, I took psychology too, but I didn't talk about that.
Depending on when you take your psychology class, they'll have a different subject at different times during the class. And one that I got stuck with was the effects of pornography on the modern mental psyche. And so we were looking at different sex toys, and we watched clips of different films, and we had to write papers on this shit. And
they're offering you extra credit if you came over after school?
Yeah, no, this was an online course. But
online? That don't count.
Yep. Hey, I got credit for it, so it counted. Yeah, barbecues out there. He says, "Still, would be one hell of an awkward job either way." Yeah, it definitely would. Yeah, right. I got stuck in the weird psychology class that semester.
My psychology class is all about the mind, how people interpret, I don't know, the psyche aspect of it, I guess you can say. So,
well, yeah, that's
how your brain works, learned responses, stimuli, all this different things.
Yeah, that's what we were
we
studying was how
a lot of people say people are biased or racist, but it's a learned response. You know, if every black guy you see acts like a fucking douchebag, you don't like black guys. You know, it's just the way it goes. So,
Yeah, well,
you know, like, we're all, it's a big circle, big cycle of shit. So, you know, or you touch a flame and you get burnt, you think a flame's going to burn you next time. It's just the way it goes. So, I mean, yeah, all that type of shit. So,
yeah,
the aspects of how that's on life and things. So,
yeah, that's what we were doing. We were analyzing how porn has affected people in their everyday lives because of how the growth of pornography since the internet's been a thing.
Well, my professor wasn't trying to sleep with me.
It was just one of those crazy forces. Yeah, I know. But there's crazy stuff you gotta do in college, man. Not extracurricular. I mean, just in classes and stuff. Some of the classes you gotta take and stuff. You'll get in some strange topics at times.
I loved but hated psychology. I loved it because it was interesting. And a lot of the dots connected and stuff he did and didn't even realize, and the habits people get into without even knowing it. Like, yeah. I don't know, like, you know, the average person don't know yourself. You think you do, but you don't. You know what I mean? You don't realize you're. But that's a whole nother discussion. But
yeah,
but I hated it because of the goddamn spelling. Like, even my spell check had a heart attack in class. You know what I mean? Jesus.
Do you know pornography?
20-letter words and shit. Like, it sucks.
Yeah. He spelled psychology SIKO.
Yeah, but the best part is
my laptop melted down like several times because of that shit. The little
the craziest
eyes
thing
would pop out and be like, "What the hell?"
Yeah, the craziest thing is people that build an actual pseudo drug addiction to pornography because of the dopamine that's released.
That ain't all that's released.
Yeah, I know that.
Well,
yeah,
I think it was Jesse Ventura went on what's his name show there. The dude that smokes weed on his show. I can't think of his name. Joe Rogan. He was on. I think it was Jesse Ventura. He was on Joe Rogan talking about that. About how he got to the point where it was like hookers, blows, and midgets, and all types of shit, and then it wasn't enough, and this and that. He did a whole shit about how pornography will fuck your sex life up. So,
oh yeah,
there might be something to it, man. Because you gotta keep almost like a drug. You gotta keep bringing shit to another level. Like, you know, next thing you know, you're just limp dicking it, and ain't nobody happy.
Yeah, that was one of the aspects of that class was because that was one of the mental aspects that pornography has caused. Because, you know, it causes mental and physical dependency. You know, people get addicted to this shit to that level. It's like being addicted to drugs. There actually is rehab for pornography. You go to a rehab center. Just like if you were addicted to cocaine or heroin.
Yeah. My lady was going to send me to some sex class thing, you know, Sex Anonymous or whatever for being a junkie, but then she figured I'd end up with too many dates.
It's too early for the dad jokes.
It's too late in the evening. Earlier was the time for dad. We were doing the dad jokes during Gary's show. Yeah, Gary's got it. Might as well face it. You're addicted to love, but not in the good way. Yeah, you walk into the sex addiction clinic and they got Robert Palmer playing. That would be freaking funny as hell. Your mind is not your own.
How many of you guys went out and made oatmeal cookies? Don't lie. No, somebody had to.
Oatmeal cookies? What does that have to do with anything?
No big cookies. After that conversation last night, I know a bunch of people must have been
I wasn't there for that part.
So no, man. No. My wife says I've had them before. I don't fucking remember eating raw dough with oatmeal in it. And what'd she say? Oatmeal, peanut butter, and something else. I'm like, I don't eat peanut butter cookies. I think she's got me mixed up with one of her other husbands because I don't eat peanut butter cookies.
Yeah, I wasn't there
How
for
many
the.
husbands does she currently have?
We both been married a few times. No, I'm not talking about the polygamy bullshit. That's just too confusing. It'd be really easy to scream out the wrong name.
Well, they wouldn't care at that point.
Nah, that's true. I don't give a crap if somebody wants to do that stuff, but there's a TV show about that, and all they ever do is complain about each other. So I guess a good example of a bad example. But yeah, we've both been married a few times. It's fine. You know what? Each time you get married, you find out not what you want, but what you don't want. And I'd rather somebody know what they don't want than what they want. Yeah. But I don't eat peanut butter cookies, so it's fine. So I don't know what else, what other time I would have had one of these no bake fake cookies or whatever. I know I ain't making them. Apparently I can't make fish. Today I set the side of ribs on fire. That was
Damn.
yeah, I tried to put too many ribs on the grill, and I smoked one. The other one I torched. There was still some edible meat on it, but yeah, it's like,
Just seared it a little.
oh no, I didn't sear it. I looked out the kitchen window, and there was fire shooting out of the top of the grill. I'm going, what the hell?
Yeah,
I
you
trimmed
seared
as
it a
much
little.
Blame
fat.
the oil, man.
I trimmed as much fat off of that side of ribs as I could, and yeah, I just
Squid tried to pull a moo.
now I did. I managed to season them. I managed to get the gaminess out of the ribs. I learned a few things. I took a few tips from watching some videos in the past about just some things you can do to kind of take the gaminess out. But
So
yeah, so I was trying to fit 2 slabs of ribs on a Weber kettle grill, which they don't fit. If you're trying to, yeah, and to smoke them, because you put the charcoal on one side and you leave the other side, empty, and just cover it and before I covered it, I went inside to grab the other side of ribs and went out there, and yeah, just like, well, whatever. Yeah, with venison ribs though, you don't get as much meat anyhow. So yeah,
what's your take on? Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I suck at cooking. I tried, man. I tried fish. I tried ribs. I don't know what else I could burn.
Yeah, you were just trying to one up Moo when he'd set his smoker on fire.
Well, now that, see, I've watched some videos about how that works, and it seems to be there's a lot of maintenance with those, more than I want to do. At first, I wanted one. I watched somebody's video on one. I'm like, oh yeah, I want one of these. And I saw somebody else's video, and I'm going, no, I don't want one of these.
Well, that gamey taste. I gotta ask you, what's your opinion? I've heard debate that if you drop a deer, like if you get a good shot and drop it pretty much instantly, within 20, 30 feet, whatever, pretty much instantly, the deer tastes better. Obviously, harvest properly. And that's a whole nother debate too that we could get into or whatever. But people will say if it's dropped properly like that, you don't get the gamey taste you would because the deer didn't get an adrenaline rush. Like, I'm told that's, the release of that through glands and shit ends up giving it that gamey taste. Now, yeah, I have no idea. I'm not a specialist in this. That's why I ask. It's a debate thing. What's your opinion on that? Do you think that's the case? Like, is there any truth to that, or does it strictly fall back into processing and cleaning as soon as possible? You know what I mean? Obviously, there's got to be something to that as well, but from the people I've seen, there's this big debate. Well, you just don't know how to hunt, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? Like, if you hunt good, your food will taste good. Or, is there any legitimacy to that?
There's multiple different factors.
So, wait, go ahead.
I was going to say the faster the deer drops, you're not going to have all the adrenaline that can affect flavor. The diet can affect the flavor. How well you age the meat before you cut it, and how quickly you let the blood and stuff drain out, that can affect the flavor. There's different things that can affect. It's not one particular thing. It's a conglomerate of things.
Okay. Yeah, that's kind of how I seen it too, because it seemed like every damn guy that hunts has a different method. Well, this is how my dad taught me to do this, how we do it. You know what I mean? So, but from what processors say, like, you need to rinse that shit thoroughly, get it cleaned like ASAP. Like, you know what I mean? You want it hung, drained, and cleaned ASAP. And then you'll get a better, not only can they give you, more meat in the end, basically, like, but because you didn't have sloppy shots or a bunch of different shots that might have disturbed the meat, which could be harmful, and they're not actually allowed to give to you that section or whatever, but needless to say, processors tend to claim, that a lot of hunters are just sloppy as hell, and that's why a lot of it ends up that way. They don't do it right. They don't clean it out right. They don't do it quick enough. So,
okay, so you're talking about several different things in one thing. All right, so shot placement is important to an ethical kill and not having to track the deer, which it could get away. I've had that happen. Mm-hmm. And to not damaging the best cuts of meat. So if you hit it in certain areas, you can destroy an entire roast, say, for example, right? So there's one thing. The next thing is, I've been told the adrenaline affects how tough the meat is. If it's on an adrenaline rush, then that gets into the blood, that gets into the muscle, and that makes the muscle more tough. It doesn't make it as tender. So the one time I shot at the deer and I missed, and it ran towards me and stopped, and then I hit it again and hit it in the spine, and it just dropped, instantly killed it. Well, the distance from where it heard the first shot and ran, it had adrenaline going through its blood, right? Or the other deer that I shot that ran 100 yards and jumped into the stream, right? For 100 yards, it's got adrenaline pumping through it and all this, things like that, right? So I don't think that I've, trying to think, probably almost every deer or most every deer that I've shot probably had adrenaline in its system when it died. So I really haven't noticed, as far as a toughness in the meat, any tougher than I would expect from the leaner meat you're going to get from a deer versus, say, a cow, right? The next thing is the gaminess. In my experience, what they eat affects the flavor of the meat. If you get one out in the woods, it's eating pine cones, or it's living in the swamp, you're going to get a more gamey meat, maybe even a musty meat. I mean, if you've ever shot a deer that lives in the swamp, the meat is musty than if you get the deer that are eating corn in the field. And those are a lot easier to get, by the way, at least in my experience. So I've shot both, and I've noticed you're going to get a gamey taste, but the ones I get out in the woods are gamier. If you season it just right, you can get the most of it out, but you'll still be able to tell this is venison, this is not beef. Although you can get it almost smelling and almost tasting like steak sometimes. The longer you prepare the meat, the better it's going to be as far as tenderness for cutting through it and as far as the taste. And I rushed it today. I rushed those ribs. I could have soaked them. I could have done a lot of things. I've butchered 2 deer. All the other ones I've paid somebody to do. I'd rather pay somebody. If I had a bigger kitchen, or say maybe a spare kitchen in the garage or something like that, and if I had more processing equipment than I have right now, it might be more practical to butcher my own deer. If I bagged more deer, more than 3 a year, it might make more sense to butcher my own deer. So maybe somewhere down the road, if I had the time and the space and the money, I might just butcher all of my own. But when I've butchered a deer, I've actually had to cut out where I've shot and I've seen where I've ruined some of the meat and whatnot. I like to go to the butchers that don't charge a crazy amount of money, because some of them are really expensive. But those that charge a lower price are usually a further drive. So do you eat it in fuel and time? But I also like the ones that give you more cuts, like the ribs. Most of the butchers will toss out the ribs. I go to one that will actually cut the ribs out and wrap them up for you. So you're going to get different results from different butchers. I like the neck roast, right? I know butchers that will throw that away. And it's worth it to me to make that longer drive to get that better price and get those cuts of meat, even though most people don't eat the neck or the ribs.
Well, you could, in theory, if you got a dog, per se, save that for dog food, like mix in with dog food and shit too. So, like, to throw it away seems pretty wasteful. So, I mean, that kind of brings up another thing is, you know, to me, it seems like the best bang for your buck is to do the whole thing yourself. I mean, if you're
have you ever cut up an animal?
My father-in-law, you did.
Somewhat, yeah.
father-in-law
It's the
would butcher
royal
deer.
pain. Here I
Yeah,
am.
but
Here
I'm
I
just
am
saying, like,
with my
money-wise,
regular.
if you're doing this to save money, like, you know what I mean, like to feed your family, you know, you're justifying to your wife going to buy this rifle, all this equipment and shit, going out and doing it. Your biggest bang for your buck is doing it all. You know
No,
what I mean?
no,
Oh.
it isn't. Nope. Okay, do you have a vacuum sealer? Do you have a meat
Well, you
grinder?
might, especially, I mean,
Do
if you're,
you have a dehydrator? Do you have a really good set of butcher knives? Do you have a big enough countertop? Do you have a place where you can hang the deer? Do you have a place where you can keep
I've
the
seen
entire
people do
carcass
this,
cold?
like, in bathtubs, man. Like out in the country, people ain't got all that shit. They got a
My
rusty
father-in-law
steak
had all that
knife
shit.
and shit. Like,
My
they-
father-in-law had all that shit. He would dress the deer and butcher them all. I mean, he did it all himself.
If you have the time and the space and the equipment, then it's not a bad idea. But I can tell you, for example, a meat grinder is something I don't have, right? So if I want to make hamburger, I've got to take my cuts to the butcher anyhow and have it ground. And if I want to have it mixed with
Harbor
something,
Freight sells meat grinders. I know, it
right?
might not
And
be
you get
top quality
okay,
or
all right,
something.
all right.
I'm just throwing
Rob,
it
you've
out there,
never
you know what I mean?
butchered a deer. I'm trying to explain, and you want to argue with me over this stuff. I'm trying to explain it. You asked the question. I'm not going to explain it then.
Throwing, you can get, if that's your only step, you can get one of those cheap. But please continue.
No, that's okay. That's all right. I got it. I got it.
Oh,
See,
don't be all
if it were
offended
me,
and
Squid
shit.
would keep going because he just likes to argue with me. That's so.
No, it's not that. He asked a question. I'm trying
I
to
know, I'm
answer the
joking.
question. He wants to change the answer because he doesn't like my answer. Then don't ask the fucking question.
Yeah, but that was a joke, Squib.
All right, I want to hear your answer though. I mean, you think without all this stuff, it's probably not worth the bang for your buck. Then is what you're saying. Like, it's not your best bang for your buck. Because I don't. I mean, what all do you really need? I mean, maybe a grinder for the small stuff, or maybe you give that to the animals.
A
Other
grinder to
than
make
that,
sausage.
knives in a freezer, right? Like,
You never had deer sausage?
I mean, you know, a cleaver, a sawzall. I mean, depending how, if you want to split the back. I mean, you know, it all depends. If you're saving the pelt, you know, I mean, obviously there could be some other things, but technically, you know, you could do it off a tree in your backyard with a damn tow chain. I mean,
Yeah,
I've
well,
seen that. I've seen this done.
Yeah, but the grinder isn't for preparing stuff for the animals. The grinder is to make sausage or ground meat with it.
Oh, I understand. Yeah, that's what hamburger, all that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got some in my fridge. So yeah.
Hey, barbecue.
Yo. So
Heard you
one
having
of the things,
electrical problems, man.
electrical problems.
Yeah, something about you needed a wiring done or something.
Oh, friggin' kids ripped the phone line out of the back of the router, so I was without internet for a while. But
Okay,
I think
the way it
got
seems
it
to me
fixed up
said last night, it's almost sounded like you needed wiring done in the house or something.
no, I was just having
You
trouble.
made it sound like your house is
phone
infested with
line,
rats.
and I couldn't find the friggin' place where the phone line, jacked into the wall and all that fun jazz. So then it was just a giant fiasco. Whereas where it is going to have the friggin' internet company come back in and rerun the line. But I was finally able to.
It wasn't as serious as what I was thinking it was. Okay.
Yeah, no. But no, everybody thinks you got to hang the deer. Now letting it age like that is good, but you don't have to hang it. What I normally do is I'll quarter it, cut out the back straps, all that fun jazz. If you've got an extra refrigerator, that is perfect. Just put it in large Ziploc bags and put it in that fridge and just let it sit for a week.
Mm-hmm.
Age it the
main
same
thing
way.
is to try and get the blood drained out. Is if you can get the blood drained out before it starts getting that livery flavor, you're good. Because you will. A deer that you can tell when you bite into a deer if the person that dressed that deer knew what they were doing or not. If they don't, you'll get a livery flavor to it. You know what I'm talking about, barbecue?
Yeah.
I've tasted that before.
One of the things.
I was just saying, I've tasted that livery flavor before with steaks and stuff off venison. So yeah, I can testify to that flavor. And he said I didn't take the deer down or nothing. It was a coworker, so I don't know the backstory, but I know the flavor you're speaking of.
All right, sorry. Go ahead, barbecue.
Oh no, I was gonna say, but like Squib's talking about with grinding burger stuff like that. Yeah, if you're really worried about having burger, then that's one of those deals where it is an investment because if you ever use a hand grinder, good God, yeah, man. I think the only person here qualified to use a hand grinder is going to be Rob's wife, and that's because she's the cement mixer, and she's going to be strong enough to do it.
Yeah,
because,
I was
God.
trying to get to that. I was trying to get to that, but yeah, I guess you got to go through it to understand where the investment comes, where the cost comes.
And cheap grinders.
What's sexier than a lady grinding your meat in lingerie, right? I mean, come on.
Hey, there you go. But yeah,
yeah, you go to Harbor Freight, you get Harbor Freight.
I don't always have a problem with Harbor Freight. Heck, actually, I was talking to my dad the other day. He's been maintenance down at Channel Lock for 30 years now, and told him, I was like, yeah, because we just got a Harbor Freight that opened up in our hometown a few months ago. It's funny because it's literally right across the bridge from the plant at Channel Lock there, and I told my dad, I was like, yeah, I went in there and I was like, oh snap, I didn't even think about looking here for a friggin' drill press. He's like, oh yeah, we just got one of those drill presses. I was like, hold on, you guys actually went over to Harbor Freight and picked up a drill press? He's like, yep, the one that we had at the plant took a crap and we needed another one, so we just went over to Harbor Freight and got one. I was like, all right. So those fiercely made in America tools are getting some work done with Harbor Freight tools. But yeah, so a good meat grinder definitely would be advised. But yeah, a lot of people that I know, if they go to the butcher, I mean, plenty of people get a lot of specialty stuff, and you really start paying through the nose when you get into that stuff. But a lot of people I also know, they just want the basics, steaks, chops, burger, and, send it. So when I'm butchering deer at home, I don't worry about burger because I don't have a meat grinder, and they are a little bit pricey. If I have burger, normally I end up buying half a cow at some point in the year, and I'll have burger from that. But I cut everything into steaks, chops, and stew meat.
Yeah. Well, what was nice about with my father-in-law, as much land as he owned, well, my mother-in-law has it now. Under West Virginia law, he could shoot deer year round, so he was always getting deer. So if he wanted one for steaks, he knew specifically what deer was going to be good for what cuts of meat. You know what I mean? Because the age of the deer and stuff. Like if you want burger, go for an older deer that's going to have tougher meat on it, and grind that. You grind just about all that deer into meat, into ground meat, and that would fill your freezer with as much ground meat as you would need for the year. And you mix the deer with a little bit of ground beef, and the flavors mix together, and it's really good. It's a really good burger when you do that.
Well, you don't normally mix it with.
Well, he would make these really big burgers that would be like half ground beef and half ground deer. And the flavors, man, the flavors you got from that were ridiculously good. Because it would be like he would do like a 1/3 pound burgers with there would be like a 1/6 of a pound of ground beef and a 1/6 of a pound of the deer mixed together. That was really good. They were really good burgers when he did that.
But yeah, the thing a lot of people do is they actually, when they grind their own deer meat, is they add in beef or pork fat because venison's so lean in the first place. Also, if you're making sausage or something, realize if you're planning on making your own venison sausage, you only need, for every pound that you want to make, you only need half a pound of venison, because it actually doubles when you make sausage.
Now, when he was doing sausage, that's when he would add in a little bit of like pork lard or pork.
Yep.
Or he would even put bacon grease in it.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's where you would get your fattiness from for the sausage.
So what's the formula for the average dude to save money? To buy a gun, go get a cheap rifle, go get your permit and shit, whatever, get out there. You got to buy a freezer, you know. How long is it going to take to start making?
You're not going to save money going hunting. You're not. You could save money over a long period of time if you use the same rifle, and you always get a deer or 2 or 3 or 5 every year or something like that, or somebody gives you a free deep freeze or something. I will tell you that what I paid to butcher 3 deer last year was probably break even with what the same amount of meat would cost at the grocery store. However, it's venison, not beef. You can't buy venison at the grocery store. I'm not going to buy a neck roast at a grocery store. Not that that's like a prime cut of meat. I can buy ribs at the grocery store.
Actually, there are grocery stores that you can buy venison at because they have farm-raised venison now.
Well, all right, but
if you process yourself, I mean, can you start saving money?
Yes and no.
It's time.
Yes and no.
Okay.
Yes and no. You've got to look at the cost of the equipment. You've got to look at some other things. Yeah, time is part of it. And for the people who say, I've got more time than money, okay, great. I guess I can't speak your language because I know what I'm worth an hour. And if you look at the time it takes me to butcher a deer, right then and there, if you pay me my time, I'm better off going to the butcher, even with the drive time and the fuel, because they package it up, they label it, everything's good to go. They vacuum seal it, all that stuff. Now, I'm not saying that doing it yourself, like I know people that get 15 deer a year and they've got a walk-in freezer in their house. Hell yeah, they can butcher their own deer.
Oh, okay? Yeah. My in-laws had 2 or 3 freezers in the basement full of deer that was for nothing but deer meat every year.
I've seen a guy process a deer in like about an hour and 10 minutes. And he made did the tender or the loins from inside, not the outside that everybody confuses or whatever. That you got to be specific with people when you deal with cuts of meat or whatever. But he did all that, split the pelvis, basically had everything busted up in about an hour and 10 minutes. Now, I don't know if that's average or this guy's a freaking rock star, been doing it for 20 years or whatever, you know what I mean? I don't know, but if that's truly the case, I mean, that's not a lot of time, you know what I mean? And he wasn't, he had like 2 knives throughout the whole thing.
Yeah.
Well, like everything else, you're trying to equate this to money, and as soon as you do that, everything goes out the window. Well, now it's like, everybody can butcher a deer in an hour and 10 minutes,
Well, yeah, but I know.
Why does everything always have to equate to money?
Because is it worth my time or not? That's what I need to know. I'm not rich.
Rob, if you don't have property that you can go hunting to year round, you're not going to save any money. People don't go hunting for they don't go hunting to save money. They go hunting for the recreation of it.
Yep.
And because every so often they get to have a deer as a special treat for themselves and their family. It's not about, for most
Well, now
people
that
who
you
go
said that,
hunting
the
for hunting
lady's gonna
season,
say no.
it's a
It's
So,
feeling
okay,
of freezing.
Rob,
guaranteed.
do you want me to tell you why I go deer hunting?
Sure.
Okay, I do it because my wife likes venison. If she did not like venison, I would not waste my time freezing my ass off out there. I take no delight in killing a stupid animal that's a nuisance, even though it does taste good. I take no delight in freezing my ass off. I take no delight in spending all that time and money on all the things I have to do before the season, all that. I don't. There are guys that like being out there because they just want to kill something. There are guys that just want to get away from their bitchy wives. There are guys that want the peace and solitude so they can think. There are guys that want an excuse to buy another gun. There are guys that, do all of it. They do all of it. They do their own butchering, everything, and it's like it's a pilgrimage almost. All right, I'm not one of those guys. My wife likes venison, so I freeze my ass off to kill Bambi for my wife. That is the reason I do it. I do get to hang out with my friends, and some of my friends, they live so far away or our schedules are so different. It's almost the only time of the year we see each other. So it's great to hang out with my friends, but I'd much rather meet them for a beer than, be texting from one vine to another. Do you see anything? Do you see anything? I get satisfaction out of it because I work so hard to do it. And then when I finally do harvest a deer, it's satisfying. But if my wife said, I don't ever want to eat venison again, I don't know that I'd do it anymore. Seriously, it's that big of a hassle for me. But I'm not one of these people that thinks they're pretty and they're nice and they're gentle and we shouldn't kill them or whatever. They are a fucking nuisance. They're just a tasty nuisance.
Rob, you want a good way to save money on meat without hunting?
Become a vegetarian?
I'm listening.
All right. I'm not going to tell you to eat a salad, I promise. Go to the grocery store, buy whole pork loins. Instead of buying pork chops that are pre-cut, get a whole pork loin, go home, slice it to the sizes that you want. Now, I'd also recommend getting a vacuum sealer. Food Savers are awesome. There's a couple other brands out there that I can't remember off the top of my head that I've been checking out recently that look even better, but can't remember what those are right now. Anyways, vacuum sealer is always nice because the meat stays good for freaking ever in the freezer at that point. But yeah, so go buy whole pork loins. You get them for like $1.99 a pound. On sale around here. I mean, I don't know if they're in your area there, but around here on sale, I find them for $1.49 a pound. When I find pork loins on sale like that, like I said, I go home and I just cut them into chops. So if you like really thin chops, you can cut them to as thin as you want. If you like a thick cut chop, you can cut it as thick as you want. The other nice thing is, say you're like, oh, you know what, a pork roast would be nice. Well, great, cut that pork loin in half. Now you've got a good pork roast for, throw it in the vacuum sealer, and then one day you guys want to have pork and sauerkraut or something, throw that thing in the crock pot, good to go. Another great thing to do.
I hear what you're saying, but I'm not a big pork fan. Just throw it out there. But I would also, I've tried to get into like buying a cow with somebody or whatever. Everybody's broke. You know what I mean? Nobody wants to spend $300. But whatever. But
well, here's the other one that you can do.
That might be a cheaper way to go. From a butcher or whatever. Just split with a person or two. I don't know.
Yes and no. It ends up being cheaper when I go get half a cow, I'm spending on average at least $1,000. But when you average that out, it's coming out to about $5.50 a pound. Mm-hmm. Well, if I get 75 pounds of burger with that, I just paid $5.50 a pound for 75 pounds of burger. I'm losing my ass on that. But then when you look at, I got T-bones, I got porterhouses, I got ribeyes, et cetera, those are some expensive cuts of meat. And that's where it kind of averages out and could be a little bit cheaper. But the other thing I was going to tell you, go to the grocery store, buy whole chickens. You can get whole chickens for $5 or $6 a pound. Take those home, butcher them yourself. Now, if you were to think about it, you go to the grocery store, you buy a package of chicken breast. You'll get 4, maybe 5 breasts in that package, if you're lucky, for $10, $12. You go and buy 2 whole chickens, cut out the breast, there's your $10 to $12. You now have 4 thighs, 4 drums, and 4 wings. Well, technically, because if you're going to the bar, you got the flat and the drum for the wings. So you'd have you'd have 8 wings total, and all that would be money in your pocket at that point. Because
That's bullshit, man. How they do that?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
How they pop the joint and they're like, oh, now it's 2. Like, that's bullshit. They're robbing us when you buy wings like
when
that.
you really think about it, technically, they're really robbing you because the wings made up of 3 points.
Mm-hmm.
Because you got the.
That's true. But I don't like that little feather crooked end thing. Yeah,
you're not going to eat that
without that.
I mean, there's nothing to it.
If you want a good video tutorial on how to break down a bird, go watch Midnight's on when he breaks down the turkey. Chicken breaks down the same way a turkey does. It's just a smaller bird, but they break down exactly the same.
Yep. But yeah, you can save a ton of money by going and buying whole chickens and butchering them yourself. Because like I said, I mean, it also depends, how much chicken breast do you eat? Because if you don't eat a lot of chicken breast, then it may not be that beneficial in the long run. But if you're using a lot of chicken breast for a lot of stuff too, then like I said, basically each time that you buy that whole chicken, you're paying for the breast, and then you got 2 quarters, you got 2 quarters, or 2 thighs and 2 drums, however you want to look at it, and then you got 4 wings with each one, and all that other stuff is just money in your pocket because all you paid for was, again, the breast. But people don't want to put in the work to butcher their own chickens.
Yeah, I can tell you that butchering a deer on the granite countertop in my tiny ass kitchen with the knives I have, which are not professional butchering knives, was a royal pain in the ass. I didn't have a vacuum sealer, so I put everything in Ziploc bags. It's not going to last as long. Now I could go buy a vacuum sealer, but I didn't. And there's another thing that's taking up space and that sort of thing. And to give you an example of cost, I had 3 deer butchered last year for $475. Now that is the first year that I have broke even on the butchering fees. Just take everything else out of the equation: the ammo, the gun, the hunting permit, my time, fuel, whatever, right? Lost equipment. I always lose a glove every year. Why is that? I don't know. You just get all that out of there and you just go at just the cost of paying for the butcher. I finally broke even because the meat is so expensive. It's just like the garden this year. I put out a gardening video today. My garden has not been doing so well. But if it was just doing fine, not fantastic, if it was doing fine, what I spent on dirt and seeds and plants and everything else this year, with the vegetable prices being what they are, I probably would have broke even. So it just depends on how you look at it. But if hunting or butchering an animal or fishing or any of the other things that you can do is more to you than just saving money or the potential to save money, then you can't really necessarily put a value on it.
Well, and the other thing is, though, I think there's one thing you're not considering your squib, and that's that fancy word organic. Because when you're growing your own vegetables at home, when you're harvesting that deer, you don't get much more organic than that. And if you actually went and looked at the price of stuff at like a Whole Foods or that just says organic at the grocery store, that stuff's coming in a bit more expensive, quite a bit more expensive. So at that point, I mean, if you look at it that aspect, you're probably saving a little bit of money still.
So what I did with the garden, I look at almost like the replacement value. So I don't necessarily buy. There's a few things I've bought organic, but for the most part, I don't buy. So if I can grow green peppers, if my green peppers are technically organic, I don't look at that because I don't buy organic ones at the store. But there's other things. For example, like some of the hot peppers I grow, they don't sell them at the store. So now how do you really judge the value? If I can grow something that they don't sell, that's worth a lot more. So you could look at hunting or fishing just like gardening. Is it a money pit? Is it a hobby? Or are you saving money? there are ways to make it save money, but it's usually not a quick return on investment. It just isn't. I mean, you have your own live chickens, so you butcher your own chickens, right? I mean, does the chicken feed and all that equate to saving money versus buying them at the grocery store?
Well, I'm not even getting chickens to butcher. I'm just doing it for eggs because I eat so many eggs as it is. But you know, I'm hoping to have enough eggs where I can sell them as well. But even then, you know, the first batch of chickens that I've gotten this year are just now starting to lay. Now, if you were like, oh, what's what I'm going to spend on a monthly basis and what I should be able to sell the eggs for once they're all in full production and everything, you know, I'll be coming out ahead. But you still got that initial startup cost where I probably have to sell eggs for a year before I can just even get into the black. Because
there's another
$50 a month on grain and layer feed.
Dang. So there's another idea, Outcast. At some point, if you live somewhere where you could have a chicken coop, you could go that route, but don't expect a quick ROI.
Don't say that. Don't say that.
Why? Because they're going to be pets, not meals?
Because his ladies
More
out
than
there in the
likely,
chat, and
and
that's exactly
ladies
what's
been-
going to happen.
Talking about that shit for years. I'm not trying to get more damn pets around here and shit.
They're not pets.
Yeah, but you can eat your pets.
Okay.
You can eat your pet.
She's going to come at you with, well, no, we got to do what Squibby and Barbecue are saying.
Now, I will tell you this. If you were trying to maximize the potential to save money hunting, if you took her with, she had a license as well, and both you bagged your limit, that's a lot more meat to stuff in the freezer. I can tell you that the deep freeze I got was not that expensive. I bought it at Lowe's, and it wasn't really that expensive. I think it was like $300 or $400 maybe. I can't remember exactly how much, and I can fit 3 deer in there with room to spare.
She says you can have 4 chickens and 2 goats in the city limits. Look at it this way, Rob. You get 2 goats, you don't have to mow the lawn anymore.
Nah, I ain't getting no damn goat, man.
Yeah.
You get 4 hens, and you're looking at a dozen eggs a week.
Wow, really?
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
If they're comfortable.
they'll lay anywhere from 4 to 6 eggs a week. So you figure with 4 hens, easily get you a dozen eggs a week.
Man.
Yeah, but are they going to be comfortable with the junkies going by and all the dogs barking and
Yeah,
yelling and screaming
as long
and
as you
freaking
give
out
them
all the time?
as long as you give them the space to be comfortable, they'll be fine. So if you got a coop with a run in it, so basically you're gonna have the coop set up where they can go in and be sheltered at night, all that fun jazz. But then the run is the fenced in area, and you just have like chicken wire over top and whatnot, so nothing can really get in there to get them. You have to still worry about raccoons or coyotes or something like that chewing through the chicken wire, stuff like that, to try and get into the run, or digging beneath it, stuff like that.
Stray cats in the
Yep.
city will be an issue too. But the goats will chase away. If you get the goats will chase away the cats.
But the other thing is, heck, you could build your own coop. Obviously, you build stuff all the time. But I was gonna say, if you're gonna go buy a coop, that's one of those deals where, great, you go to Tractor Supply or something, and they've got coops that would be perfect for 4 to 6 hens, but they're like $500. So at that point, how long are you gonna have those friggin' hens for you to just break even on the cost of getting that coop?
What if he brewed his own beer or distilled his own alcohol? Would there be a cost savings there for him?
You forget.
Got grapes growing in the backyard.
You forget Barbecue. Rob's the contractor. He could just build a coop out of scrap shit he has laying around.
Oh, that's what I was saying. I was like, he builds stuff all the time. He could build a coop.
Actually, I got plenty of that. Like, I got metal sheeting. I could do all types of crap, but it's the whole point. I ain't trying to get into all that. And obviously, I'd make one of those ones like a wheelbarrow where you can pick up and move around in the yard and all that shit. But yeah, I'm not trying to do all that. I already told you. Damn, you guys.
Chickens are fun.
The chicken talk.
If you won't buy her a cement mixer, just Come on, get her a couple friggin' Rhode Island Reds. Come on.
And 2 goats, man. You get 2 goats, you don't have to mow the lawn.
Yep.
The goats will do that for you. And goats will eat the lawn. Trust me, they will eat a lot of goats.
Look, man, I gotta think about. I can't do goats. I just can't do goats.
Oh, you're a sheep guy, huh? Like when it gets stuck on the fence. Huh?
Nah.
He's not Middle Eastern. He has to have sheep, not goats.
Actually, if you like your yard, it's probably better to have sheep anyways. 'Cause sheep just eat like the top layer of grass. Goats rip it out by the frickin' root.
Yeah, that's just,
Goats
you
are
don't have to mow the
assholes.
lawn anymore. You won't have one.
Well, that's why it's good. If you like your lawn, just get the sheep because the sheep will keep it at a managed level, but they don't actually rip it out and make it look like crap.
Or if you really want to go crazy, you can always get a rhinoceros.
Damn. Now you got me thinking. Now sheep,
Or-
you got the wool,
rhinoceros?
and then you could, I don't know how hard would it be to build a loom. I assume it's probably not easy, but
Now, guys,
nowadays there's probably
think about
diagrams out there online for
Think
free
about
and
the
shit.
rhinoceros, man. The rhinoceros, you don't have to worry about a guard dog. You don't have to worry about anybody trying to break into your house. Because anybody's
Yeah,
got a
I'm sure
rhinoceros in their
their
yard has to
diet's
be
very
nuts.
affordable. I mean, unless they eat crackheads, that's probably going to be a problem.
They'll eat your lawn, and your neighbor's lawn, and
Rhinos are damn near blind. Anything that moves, they'll basically charge at.
2,000-pound lawnmower.
Mhm.
Or 2-ton lawnmower, anyway. They're,
And how much are they supposed to consume a day?
What's it
That's-
matter? You just feed them a crackhead every now and then.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I don't know how long I can get away with it around here. I'd probably get an award from half the neighbors, but I don't know.
I feel like as long as it's chasing down crackheads, because I'm sure they're all using marijuana too. As long as they drop their grass, you'll just have a rhino that's high all the time,
yeah, you'll have a very happy rhinoceros.
but he still do his job.
A rhinoceros.
Uh-huh. It'd be the most mellow rhinoceros you ever saw in your life. Or anybody else has, for that matter. You can name it Spicoli.
What if he just raised rabbits for meat?
No, you can't survive off just rabbits. You'll actually get sick for that. It's the wrong type of protein.
What?
It's okay. It's okay to mix in, but you can't go straight rabbit. Like there's lots of studies. If Moo's out there, he probably knows.
No, he's right. He's right. You can't do a diet based on rabbit. You got to mix in other stuff with it.
I mean, it wouldn't be bad because you can breed them a lot. But if you didn't have, another, I don't know, ally or resource or something to trade with, you'd end up in trouble.
Yeah, there is a legitimate illness that you can get from eating just rabbit all the time.
Yeah, but to my knowledge, it's the wrong type of protein. I guess there's a couple.
Okay, you sound like you're trying to do this not just to save money now, but to survive the apocalypse.
Dude,
I got news for you. You live somewhere where having any of this stuff will not work in the apocalypse.
And
knowledge is power.
The issue with the rabbits is if you just try to live off that, it poisons you. I don't remember what it's called, but it's a protein poisoning.
Ooh, I just had
so lean.
I just had a thought. Are you allowed to have pigs in the city limits? Pigs will eat anything. You want to get rid of some of the crackheads.
You should get a goat because think about it. You can milk it. You have free milk. You can make cheese. All kinds of good stuff.
I like goat cheese. That ain't bad.
See?
Goat cheese, some Mata Goya.
Feta. Feta's made with
All
goat's
right.
milk.
It's an acquired taste here or there, but it's not bad.
See, get a goat.
Nah, I got an issue with goats, man. They look at me funny. I got problems with goats. They're all dickheads.
My ex.
Rob had a goat eat his pants once, I guess. He was walking through the petting zoo. Next thing you know, he doesn't have a pants leg.
Man, talk to somebody that has goats. They'll tell you. Honestly, goats are dickheads. Nobody likes goats.
Oh yeah, goats are assholes, but they're awesome.
Except the guy trying to sell them to you.
Yeah, they have weird eyes.
I literally just said I like goats. They're friggin' awesome. I'll admit they're dicks, but they're awesome.
They have weird eyes though. Their eyes are weird. What other animal has a non-circular or ovoid pupil? They're weird.
You know what else? Rob's sitting here complaining about goats. Pretty sure he keeps crackheads around. Pretty sure they're dicks.
I think just about everybody in his neighborhood's dicks. I mean, they launch fireworks at his car.
Anybody starting to get the impression that maybe it's not everybody else that's the issue, it's just Rob?
Well, you know what? If the whole neighborhood's nothing but dicks, the goats will fit right in.
Hey, man, I never said I didn't have issues.
Yeah, Gary says goats taste good too. I don't know if I've ever had goat. I don't remember. I may have when I was younger. Now I think about it, because they'll use goat meat in different Greek recipes, so I may have and just don't remember.
It's true. I can't imagine it being much.
I've eaten goat before. Goat, lamb. I don't think it was great though. I don't know. Stringy. Nah, I prefer steak or beef or venison.
Not like any meat, it's got to be prepared properly.
Elk, I love elk. Elk's good.
You get bear that's prepared properly, and that's really good. Like bear stew that's done just the way it's supposed to be done, that's really good. But if you get somebody who don't know what the hell they're doing and they make bear stew, oh god, it's god awful. Gary, you don't let Rob cook anything, man.
I can make some things. I can, but yeah. If you want a safe bet, I'm better off as the baker.
Anything you don't let Rob make, you damn sure don't let Squib make. From his own confessions here.
Yeah. Oh hell no! Don't no.
Squid's been living the high life though. He's been drunk cooking every day, burning the shit out of stuff.
I wasn't drunk today. I had to go to work. Yesterday I was drunk. I ain't gonna lie. I was shooting a couple cocktail videos, and yeah, it happens, man. All for the channel.
Gary, I don't know about that one, man, because then it'll pee in your car.
Nothing's worse than a drunk burger. Like, they look perfect on the outside. You bite into that shit and it's still cold,
But if you do let Snob Son pick the goat, you'll have ones that give you a lot of wool in the winter to make sweaters and stuff out of.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like I was thinking sheep, not goats.
You don't know the story about Snob's kids and the goat in the car?
Oh, in the car?
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard about that. Yeah, that's great.
It wasn't a goat.
Oh.
It was a sheep. That was the
okay. Yeah. And his daughter lives on a farm. His daughter's car. Yeah, that's saying something, but yeah. Family.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, really. I mean, like, one of them looms or something like that. I mean, they probably couldn't be all that difficult to make. Maybe make your own. Make some socks I could sell to Squib. They'd last more than a week.
Probably better than I was gonna say. Probably better than some of the ones he's bought.
You gonna put a lifetime warranty on them?
Oh hell no!
Oh yeah, they put. No, I take that back. I actually had gotten socks from Famous Footwear, and they had a lifetime warranty on them. If they ever got a hole in them or anything, you took them back, and they gave you a new pack of them. This was years ago. I don't know if they still have those or not.
They
This
won't be
would've been back in the
lifetime, but I'll
90s.
sell them to you for 15 instead of 20 a pair.
They were Famous Footwear's store brand, and they were comfortable socks too. I don't know whatever happened to them. I haven't had those in years.
I'm not familiar with the company or brand or anything, but since we got barbecue in here, can we get his opinion on the whole? Do you think adrenaline makes the meat taste different? If you get a bad shot, don't take a deer down quickly.
I've never heard the adrenaline thing. Now, on the aspect of fish, and just using this as a correlation, perhaps because, and not on toughness either, but flavor possibly, because I know certain fish, like carp. People will say carp are disgusting. They taste like mud. Blah blah blah. The problem with carp is when they get stressed, they release antihistamines into their bloodstream. So a lot of people don't realize the way to combat that is as soon as you land a carp, if you want to keep that for eating, you need to put it on ice. That slows everything down, helps reduce that release of antihistamines, and makes for a better tasting fish. So with that being said, could I see that there'd be the possibility that adrenaline being pumped into the bloodstream could affect the flavor of the animal? Yes. But at the same time, you never have an instantaneous kill. And I'm sorry, but if you're getting shot, you're going to have an adrenaline dump no matter what. And like I said, you unless you shoot off the top of the heart where the blood can no longer be pumped through, which even then you figure if it's not like it just dumps into the bloodstream at the heart. I'm sure you got a bunch of different glands all over the body and stuff that dumps that. So at that point you would still have
perfect headshot or something to just shut it down, is what you're saying, in order for the adrenaline not to be pumped at all.
Or so you can also
that,
sever the spinal cord in the neck, and then.
But
I mean,
hold on, even that, because I'm trying to think who the scientist was years ago, many years ago, had done a study. We can't do studies like this anymore, but found that the head doesn't die for 30 seconds after being severed from the body. And even then, cut the head off of a chicken, it still runs around the yard.
that's true. Or
It's
a
not
snake.
instantaneous. You kill a
Snake
rabbit,
do that
you can
too.
shoot the rabbit in the head, run over, pick it up real quick, rip it open. You can pull out the heart and have it beat in your hand. So I don't think there would be any good way to try and mitigate. I mean, the best way would be making a headshot to try and mitigate that adrenaline dump. But at the end of the day, thinking about it, I don't think anybody can truly honestly say probably that they have tasted venison that didn't have an adrenaline dump, because if you get shot, it's going to happen. And deer are naturally skittish, and I mean, granted, I don't know.
Well, I know this isn't legal, but just for the conversation, what if you, I don't know, poisoned a deer, electrocuted a deer, did it in some other way where the deer wasn't stressed?
Well,
do you think
again, the thing is, you'd have to do it where it would be instantaneous. And the other
Yeah.
thing I was going to say here, though, is whenever you get scared, even if it's just somebody jumping out at you going, and they get you, you have an immediate adrenaline dump. Deer are a naturally skittish animal. That animal has adrenaline dumps all the freaking time.
Yeah, the only way I can possibly see, and you wouldn't be necessarily stopping the adrenaline dump, you would just be stopping the signal from the head to the rest of the body for the adrenaline to dump, would be if the first shot severed the spinal cord. Because then the messages from the brain to the rest of the body to dump the adrenaline from the adrenal glands in the lower body don't register. That would be the only way that I could think that you could possibly do it.
Yeah, the adrenaline thing, I've never heard that one. But just thinking about it,
I don't think it's so much that it changes the flavor so much as that it can affect the tenderness, and tenderness of meat can.
Well, the tenderness, more in the age and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I mean,
you get a more tender piece of meat, it's gonna have a little bit different flavor from just the tenderness, because it breaks down differently when you're chewing it and stuff. So that I think might be where the difference in flavoring from the adrenaline dump may pose, because the adrenaline dump, if you don't get that to where it's, like you were saying with the carp, you don't get that where it settles fast enough, that can affect the tenderness of the meat, and that could be where the flavor change comes from. Not necessarily the adrenaline itself, but the toughness and tenderness of the meat itself. I mean, I'm sure there's some scientist that probably somewhere along the line has done a study on this shit, because if there's anything scientists like to do, it's have something to study.
But the thing I'm thinking about here still is, I mean, when you're talking about toughness of the meat, you're talking about muscle fibers, and I just don't see what adrenaline's going to do to the muscle fibers that would make them instantly be tougher.
The tensing of the muscle, if it doesn't loosen back up after being tense, because
maybe it doesn't filter out quick, because it is a harder animal in a sense.
But to say that it doesn't loosen back up, that would make no sense, because
I'm just throwing shit against the walls.
I was gonna say, because the problem is if that adrenaline dump keeps the deer from loosening back up and all that, then it would never shit and piss itself when it dies. And
but I'm not talking where it stays that tense. I'm just tenses up just enough to where it doesn't get the signal from the brain to everything's calm. But yeah, again, I'm just shit throwing right now to seeing what sticks. But it's just a theory. I'm not saying it's a good one. I'm just saying that's
that's a. Where'd that one even come about?
Fuck, I don't know.
Like I said, I've never heard that one, so it does have me intrigued. I'm gonna have to go and do a deep dive on it sometime. But
I heard it from guys who've been hunting longer than me, who have butchered more deer than me. That's where I got it from. So it could be bad information. I don't know.
Yeah, I've basically heard it in those circles too, just hunters and stuff. But conversations, and everybody's gonna tell you what not to do and all that shit. So I don't know. So
it's like my dad's buddies down at Channellock. They're like, Heinz Field changed its name because they didn't want to be associated with Heinz Ward anymore. I said, what?
What?
Oh, yeah, that's what the guys down at work said. I was like, no. Oh yeah, that's what I was like. They're idiots. No.
Yeah, they're idiots because Heinz Ward didn't spell his name like Heinz the ketchup company.
Yeah. I was like, ugh. So yeah, that could very well be one of those things where one person said it one time. Mm-hmm. Oh, the adrenaline made this deer taste bad, or made it tough or something, and one guy ran with it and through a series of secondhand stupidity moments.
Oh yeah, you get a lot of that kind of shit.
Like I said, there could very well be a scientific thing that I've never friggin' heard of with it. So, like I said, I'm gonna definitely be doing
Well, do we got any like butchers that do this, like seasonal or something like that, like for
or the
people?
Pricks Rick.
Well, yeah, but I don't think Rick's done been in the game in a long time. You know what I mean? I mean,
Still,
somebody like there's got to be hunters out there that in our circle of people here. You know, I mean, not hunters, but
I
somebody's got
haven't in a while.
like.
Rick has what 30 years butchering experience. Guarantee if there is the slightest chance that is a possibility, he'd know.
He'd know. But Misfit Starling asking was whose cat that was. That was the Siamese. He like when everybody goes to bed and he can't find anybody, he likes to walk around and meow, trying to figure out where people went. He doesn't get the concept of people go in their rooms and shut the door and go to sleep at night.
That one was my cat. Stop. Yeah, there's got to be some science to it in some sense. I don't know, I can't think of the word, but biological stuff or whatever. But there's got to be something to it. But I don't know. It seems like everybody's got a different method, or this is the way to do it, or that's what I was saying earlier, kind of. So, just trying to get an idea. Maybe.
Well, at the end of the day, I mean, if you're just like, I'm trying to do this to save money, cool. If you've got a rifle and you got, a box of ammunition and stuff like that, and maybe you have to go buy hunting clothes. So fine, you go to Goodwill or Salvation Army, especially closing in on this time of year. They start putting the orange out that was donated. You find the hunting suit for $20 and you're going off in the woods. Now you're like, cool, I got something. Now I got to get it home and I got to butcher it. Do you have to let it hang or let it age or anything? No. Is it going to taste better if you do? Yes. But if you're doing it to try and save as many pennies as you can, you don't have to do any of that. Just, friggin' go home, cut it up, and done. On the aspect of knives or anything, when I'm butchering a deer, the only thing I use is a boning knife and a fillet knife. Even my Dexter Russell knives, which are great knives, fillet knife or a boning knife, $10 to $15 each. So, I mean, if you're really trying to do it bare minimum and not worried about flavor or anything, theoretically, yes, you could do it and save a shit ton of money. And again, talking about how you're going to package it up, you could very easily just go to the store, get a thing of friggin' freezer paper and Scotch tape and package it up that way, just like you would from the butcher. No big deal. You want to spend a little bit more money? Go with Ziploc bags. And you can make Ziploc bags last. And there's a couple ways to do it. One, depending on how much freezer space you have and how much freezer space you want to waste, you put the meat in a saltwater solution. So it's actually brining itself while you put it in the freezer. But what that will do is keep the air from getting to the meat because you're freezing it in water. And that will help prevent freezer burn. Or the other option is when you put it in the Ziploc bag, whatever portions you want and all that, have your kitchen sink half full of water, submerge the bag in the water until the meat is fully submerged, and then get the rest of the air out as you push the bag down a little bit further, zip it up, don't let any water in there, and it's not going to be like vacuum sealed, but it's going to do a great job getting most of that air out, which again is going to help prevent freezer burn in the long run. Another great thing to do is just get saran wrap. Freaking before people don't ever think to do this, because the thing that's going to cause your freezer burn is air getting to the meat. So what you can do is take saran wrap and lay a sheet of it out. If it's steaks that you're wrapping or whatever, whatever it is, throw it down on that saran wrap and just get it wrapped in that real tight before you put it in the freezer paper or Ziploc bag. So, I mean, is there ways to definitely do it and save money? Sure. If you're not worried about, again, having that slightly better taste, things like that.
And this is a little off topic, but is there a way to save freezer burnt meat?
I've tried. I mean, not for anything like that I'm serving anybody, just like I'm a cheap son of a gun, and I hate the idea of wasting food just because there's people out there that are hungry, and that bugs the shit out of me. Is how I was raised. You could still use it. It's gonna taste like shit.
No matter what you do, you're gonna have that freezer burnt taste.
There's gonna be.
I had some bacon like that, and I'll be honest, man, I tried to eat that shit, but at a certain point, I couldn't do it anymore. So
yeah, there's gonna be a bad taste to it.
But it was weird because like half of it was fine, but the other half wasn't. I don't know what the deal is, but you know, I tried it, but I didn't do anything special. So that's why I'm asking, like, you know, can you like soak it for a little while or something and dry it?
You can try
anything you can do to pull that.
You can try and hide it with some seasoning and stuff, but at the end of the day, it's still gonna at least have a hint there. I did it with burger a couple of years ago. The reason, actually, no, it was just over a year ago. My freezer had taken a crap. Well, actually, it wasn't that it took a crap. It was just icing over terribly. And the entire top shelf turned into a giant chunk of ice. And I was like, what in the world? So I actually had to go get the new freezer, get everything out of there that I could, get put in the new freezer. And then the old freezer I just put out on my porch. And I'm not kidding, it took over a week to have that ice chunk in the top of it thaw out to where I could start pulling out some of that meat. And I found a lot of it was freezer burnt, stuff like that. But there was some burger in there where I was like, well, that doesn't smell super terrible. I'll give it a try. Because again, the idea of having to waste food like that is just not how I was raised. And
well,
so,
yeah,
like,
you're literally throwing money away. See, that's the way I see it. I'm looking at money. Like, if I could save it, like, it might be a pain in the ass, but, you know, a freezer full of meat's a lot of meat. You know what I mean? Like, if you could save it, maybe you use it in tacos and you never notice. I don't know, but you know what I mean?
Well, that's the thing.
That's
like,
what I'm asking.
Taco seasoning is a great example. You know, taco seasoning is going to hide it pretty well, but at the end of the day, you're still going to taste it slightly. It's just there. It's a distinct flavor. Now, could it be that because I knew that that some of this meat's a bit freezer burnt, it's not super terrible, you know, I should be able to get away with this? You know, was there that placebo effect going on where since I knew I could taste it, perhaps, but I really do think it's just there's such a distinct taste to it at that point. It's hard to mask.
I've marinated the freezer burn out of venison before.
Yeah?
Yep.
Nice.
I mean, it's already gamey meat, so you kind of have to do stuff with it, but a buddy made some suggestions on some things we could marinate with, and one time we had a package of meat that was freezer burn, and I said, "You want to try it anyhow?" She said, "Yeah, let's just go ahead and marinate it like we always do." And when we ate it, we couldn't tell. I mean, we knew it was venison, and you know, we were kind of expecting it to taste bad. I'm not saying it was like perfect, but it wasn't like, yeah, we're going to eat this because, you know, we're too cheap to throw it out or nothing. It's just like, let's go ahead and try it. We didn't have anything else that was, you know, we were kind of down to the last of the venison, and it worked.
Yep. And the thing is, if something like that, that's a great time to experiment with something. If you'd be like, you know what, I wonder, have at it, because if you were already just going to toss it out anyways, because it's freezer burnt. Now, like I said, if it's like really freezer burnt, I wouldn't try it. But if you're like, it's just this small spot, hopefully, all right, cool.
Yeah, I'm not saying it would always work. It just we tried it, it worked. So, but that way we would normally marinate anyhow. So, you get people that have been hunting for 20 years or more and preparing their own wild game and stuff, and they start coming up with things. So you pick up different things from people. It's just like, getting a baking recipe or something like that from somebody.
But yeah, like I said, it's always when you get something like that where you're like, well, I was just going to throw it out anyways. Experiment with it. Worst that happens is you go to have dinner and you're like, well, this was a failed experiment. Cool. Let's go get some KFC.
Well, it's kind of like the ribs. I'm the only one in the house that eats venison ribs. So if I fuck that up, it's me that's going hungry. That's really about it.
Is freezer burnt meat still? It's not bad, right? It wouldn't could you still use it for animals?
Yeah, actually, that's how I figured out that catfish love deer heart.
Yeah,
I mean, not that anybody's worried about feeding catfish.
Yeah,
anything, but I had freezer burnt deer heart in my freezer. I didn't even realize it. Pulled them out the one day. I was like, crap, I forgot I had these, and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna take them catfishing. So I started cutting off chunks, and that is the best catfish bait I've ever had.
I use the heart for dog treats.
Nice. Heart's actually really good. I mean, it tastes just like the venison, but there's just all the other crap that's in it, because it's organ meat. It's supposed to be awful for you, but it still tastes good.
Yeah. So you think you'd return profit quicker fishing over hunting then, if you had decent water access and like fish?
Well, if you look at the price of fish, yeah. But then again, it depends on what you're going for and how good of a fisherman you are.
Okay, so to give you an idea, I had 2 salmon fillets, farm raised, and 1 rainbow trout. I thought it was a fillet, but when I got it out of the package, it was the whole, everything but the head and the tail. So they had it split down the middle, but it unfolded like wings, right? And between those 3 pieces of meat, I spent $45.
Sounds about right.
And I destroyed that trout. There were trout chunks left over, so that was a total loss. And the salmon was edible, but it's not the best I've done. I should have baked it, really. If I'd baked it instead of grilling it, it would have turned out better.
I'll have to send you a smoked salmon recipe.
$45 on fish and you screwed it up. So you got too much money, man. Too much money. I buy that cheap shit in the bag because the lady bitches, because she's like,
now, what exactly is too much money?
You're going to get the third eye. All of it's in poisoned water, or it's in a farmed raised eating its own shit, and I don't want nothing to do with it. So yeah, I get the light fish and lemon pepper it up and shit once in a while, and it's slamming. But I'll pay like, I don't know, $8 a bag or something and get like 3 or 4 pieces in there.
What exactly is too much money? What, you want everybody to be poor? Look, poverty is a choice.
$45 just to burn the shit out of it.
Yeah, well, it's my 45. It's not your damn money. It's not yours. I mean, too much money. Look, man, anybody who is poor by choice. And if you want to be, I'm not rich. Okay, just like anybody who's rich is rich by choice. You might inherit this stuff, but you know, when you do that and you haven't worked for it, you're not going to know how to maintain it and protect it.
One person.
Yeah, it's no big deal. But so what? No, I know people that spend more than that for a cut of meat, for one cut of meat. I mean, you know, it just depends. It does. I thought it was. I was not happy with myself because I decided to grill it, and if I had baked it, it would have turned out better. I'm not happy paying that price. If you think I'm going to go out and spend that every weekend, no. But it's a rare thing for us to have fish at home. my wife was gone for the weekend and I was doing all the cooking, and she will not make fish. So fuck it, I'm making fish. And if I screw it up, it's my $45. So, but it's stupid. It's stupid to charge that much
for like under $10, man.
I don't care. I'm not gonna eat your ghetto trout, okay? Look, man, I think the price is outrageous, but the price is outrageous, but I paid it. It's my money, and I don't care. I'm not saying it to like brag that I fucking spent way too much on fish. I'm just saying that's what the shit costs. So at that price, I would think that fishing would pay off. Fishing would be profitable if you can get 3 good-sized chunks of fish for $45. Or what's a fishing license cost? $10?
Well, the problem there is you got salmon. And unless you're going out deep on a couple of the Great Lakes, you're not fishing for salmon. Typically, trout you can in a lot of places, but no, I don't know what a fishing license is in Michigan, but here in PA, just for the basic fishing license, it's gonna run you, I think, almost $25, and then if you want to get like a Lake Erie stamp, that's separate. I think there's a couple other stamps that you can get. Oh, if you want to fish for trout, you got to get a trout stamp. So yeah, I've seen guys that will have $50-$60 easily wrapped up into their fishing license, and that's for a resident. If you're non-resident, that's even worse. But you figure, because even catfish fillets, I think I'll see them for $5 or $6 a piece on average at the store when I do get to see them. They might be up. Actually, it's been a while. They might be upwards of $10 a fillet now, which I love going fishing for catfish. One, because it's lazy fishing. I like lazy fishing. I don't like to cast 100 times to catch one fish. That annoys the piss out of me. I rather cast out once or twice and catch a fish.
Yeah,
So
it depends on what kind of catfish you're fishing for too.
So barbecue, you ever gone noodling?
I would like to, but well, actually, you know what? When Pymatuning is low, I could probably. I don't know. Pymatuning is weird here because there's parts of it that you could literally walk across, and then there's other parts that, from what I understand, drop down like 30 feet. So
there's parts of Pymatuning where you can walk across the backs of the carp.
Oh, that's just over in the fishbowl.
Yeah, I know. The spillway. That was a joke.
Yep. But yeah, I basically fish on the other side of the fishbowl, on the other side of the road.
If you guys don't know what we're talking about, if you're ever up near Barbecue's neck of the woods, go over to Pymatuning to what they call the spillway. It's basically with a dam that dammed the lake up, and watch the carp, because people will stand there and feed them bread, and the carp are just wall to wall. It's like wall to wall carpeting made out of carp, and it's stacked on top of it. So
the noise that they make when you toss in the bread is incredible. And then you'll have ducks and seagulls just come down and land on top of them, walk across them, and grab friggin' pieces of bread off of them. It's great.
And occasionally, when you look up, you'll see a bald eagle circling.
You got fish whisper? You're out there talking to the damn fish?
No, the fish are telling you to throw them more bread.
Mm-hmm. It's actually kind of cool, though.
Tell them jump in the net, and I'll give you more bread.
You can ball up the pieces of bread into small balls, and I mean, I was just launching them, 50-yard throws, and seagulls would just come swooping down, pick the bread ball out of the air. It was freaking great. It's a good time.
What about those Asian carp, right? You don't need a fishing license. You just need a baseball bat.
Those are a nuisance. I don't think you need anything special for those. They want those eradicated.
Yeah, but like people eat them.
Oh yeah. People like to actually go bow fishing with those, or for those now, just because they react to trolling motors and stuff like that. So as soon as you start going through with the motor, they start jumping out of the water.
Yeah, you gotta be careful because those sons of bitches will knock you out of your boat.
Yep.
I don't know if it's the sound of the motor going through or if it's the electrical impulse. I really don't know what it is exactly. They end up.
Dude, that sounds like a sport. Like, you get a bunch of people on a tour boat, they all get bats. You know, you got to be 6 feet away, but, you know, and then you drive through and everybody, you know,
People are using
everybody
bats.
goes
People,
nuts.
like I said, the really cool one, or I think, are the ones that are using spears or bow and arrow. They actually have bows now that you put a fishing reel on the side of the bow. You shoot it out. The arrow is attached to a string, so it basically harpoons the fish, and then you just reel it in. Hey, I mean, I guess you could kind of equate it
I had a
to
for that
duck
boat
hunting
fishing
meets
set.
fishing.
Little canister, all that shit. So, you know, you hook it
Yep.
up and it shoot out, and it is like a reel. You can pop and kind of reel it right back in. So, pretty
Yep.
cool stuff.
Like I said, it's kind of like duck hunting meets fishing because you're leading the fish and all that fun jazz. You let the arrow fly, and it's pretty cool shit.
Well, they're gonna have to start wrapping this up. It's going on midnight. So, Rob, any final thoughts, last words, anything that you want to get at before we wrap this up?
Sorry, you asking me?
Yeah, you. You're the one here named Rob.
Yeah, sorry. Digging around for nails. No, hopefully somebody found this interesting. Obviously, conversation varied a little bit, but if you didn't, I apologize for asking a bunch of questions you weren't interested in. But other than that, obviously R&L Displays. Check it out if you haven't. And thanks for joining us, and have a great evening.
As far as the questions are concerned, somebody had to take over Kingpin's spot since he is not here because he was moonlighting over on Scotsman's show.
Ooh.
Oh, he stood you up, didn't he? That's right.
Yeah. He's the one that usually asks those kind of questions. So, I mean, somebody had to fill in tonight.
Well, I mean, Scotsman did put up this whole thumbnail about Kingpin. So,
yeah, Kingpin's one of the co-hosts for my shows. You know, he was 2-timing tonight. You know, some people, I tell you. All right, what about you, barbecue?
Like to remind everybody that the only person that was out in the text chat tonight that is probably qualified to run a manual meat grinder is Misfits Darling. We're trying to get him to get you a cement mixer, but now he's looking to probably have you run a manual meat grinder as well. So good luck with that. Also, he needs to get you a couple goats and chickens. We'll keep working on that for you too. And go check out Squibload's channel because Squibload always has good stuff over there.
And speaking of, what about you, Squib?
If I can get to the mute button, I guess fuck you, barbecue. And yeah, go check out Outcast B channel, the Outcast Farm. You'll be seeing all kinds of critters being raised and slaughtered mercilessly and then eaten.
Mercilessly.
You can do it, Rob.
Hey, they all had it coming.
And I had to plug Squib's channel. I missed Rick's chat yesterday.
Yeah, somebody has to because Squib won't.
Exactly.
Hey, man, I'm averaging like most subscribers a week. That's what I want.
Nice.
All right. And on that note, we will bid you all adieu for this week. We will catch you somewhere later on in the week, hopefully. Hopefully, I'll be up and doing Gary's show on Friday. Lately, him doing that show at 10 o'clock and me just haven't been copacetic. For first, it was because of the wife's surgery and her sleep having mine messed up. And then Friday, I just was completely, and yesterday too, for that matter, I was just down. And I wasn't much doing anything either one of those days. I mean, to be honest, I barely made it through to do this show tonight. Sinuses are starting up again, which never fails. If I have to wear one of those stupid face diapers they call a damn mask for any length of time, which I did when she had to go for her surgery, I end up with a sinus infection week and a half, 2 weeks later. So I got a feeling that's what's starting to happen again, because that's what it feels like. But anyway, we will bid you adieu for this week, and hope everybody has a good night. And we'll play this little outro video for you, and then we'll be done.